What is up, NBA fans? Welcome into NBA Now by Chat Sports. Also live here on the Heat Report. Nick Roloff and Brett Elper on day 2 of NBA free agency. One of the most uneventful first nights in the history of the league. There was only, I think, 2 signings with a player changing teams in the first 3 hours of free agency. Tim Hardaway Jr. going from Denver to Miami, and then we had Keon Ellis going from Cleveland to Brooklyn.
Whoa.
So not the biggest moves. But since we signed off last night, there has been a lot. You saw Dean Wade go to Philadelphia. You saw Houston make a pair of signings. You had John Collins heading to Detroit. Norman Powell to Chicago. The Lakers did their entire offseason in the span of 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
So we're going to recap everything that has happened since we signed off last night around 9 Eastern time. Talk about LeBron James and more. We appreciate everybody hanging on here on the Heat channel as well as our NBA channel. We are presented by Prize Picks today, but go down and get the comment section rolling. Shout out your city for me down in the comment section.
It was a uneventful first day. Rolly, after you left, me and Harry were sitting here like, can we get a signing? It got to the point where we were talking about non-basketball things. We had the France game on, talking about the World Cup. But today, I mean, I'm extremely disappointed, but we're moving through it. We're moving past it on this specific signing, Mitchell Robinson to the Boston Celtics. Not happy about it. I'm not happy with James Dolan. But we're starting to get some juice finally with all the signings that are happening today.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I started to put together a list of best free agents still available before this live show. And I got to be honest, I was having a hard time doing it because outside of like the top 8 or 9 guys left, we have had a ton of thinning out here in free agency because Powell was a top guy. Kessler was a top guy. Sexton, top guy. Grimes, top guy. Mamu, top guy. Dean Wade was an interesting
I think Keon
player.
Ellis was on your list too.
Keon Ellis was on my top 25. So there is a lot of free agents that are off the board now. And yeah, we can all complain about how anticlimactic it was on opening night a day ago, but through not even 24 hours, I would, if you told me last night that everything that has happened since 6 p.m. Eastern time has happened at 1 or 2 p.m. Eastern time today, I would have been like, oh, okay, pretty normal free agency.
Pretty normal.
It was just the way that it was all this morning and not anything last night. But we'll recap all of the information that you guys need to know. Shout out to Timberwolves saying Detroit, DFW for Rashard Lee, David saying Bulls. We got Raphael saying Miami, Durham, North Carolina. My guy, Mike Dibble. What's up, Mike? Are you upset, Dibble, that you guys trade LaMelo Ball? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Shout out to all my Heat fans as well. Y'all guys know the business. Unfortunately, this is going to be a generic stream and not just focused on the Miami Heat.
You guys made your signing yesterday.
Yeah, we got more to do. But you saw some of the moves. We've been cycling them on screen. Let's talk about the fireworks that began this morning because I believe the first sign this morning was Marcus Smart. Well, can we go back actually, Jack? And now,
yes, that was
we can really get into the information because sure, Marcus Smart, Bogdan Bogdanovic is cool to Houston, but this is where it starts here. We had John Collins going to Detroit, and there were rumors that this signing put Detroit into the tax, which would make Duncan Robinson a cap casualty, potentially being waived. It is now reported that that is going to be a sign-and-trade with Detroit and Los Angeles, details to be announced, which is allowing the Pistons to keep on the Duncan Robinson. So all my Heat fans out there theorizing and hoping that Duncan would be waived and join Miami on the vet min, that is not going to happen. I guess the Heat hypothetically could find a way to trade for him still, but it will not be because he got waived by Detroit. Speaking of Miami, their all-star from a year ago. Norman Powell leaving on a 2-year, $45 million deal. It is 1 year guaranteed, team option in year 2. So it's exactly the same contract details as what Bruce Brown got, if you remember, a couple years ago when he signed with the Indiana Pacers after winning a title in Denver with the Nuggets. I'm not heartbroken over it as a Miami Heat fan. I'll tell you what, Elper. NBA media would like you to believe that this is a massive loss for the Heat. Like Kevin O'Connor, everybody's like, oh, brutal loss for Miami. Oh, man, it's really just going to be the same in Milwaukee. Grass isn't always greener for Giannis. Brother, we didn't want to bring back Norman Powell. Like, is he a decent fit? Sure, but he is a selfish basketball player who doesn't defend and also misses wide open players. Like, he's shot chucking rather than making the extra pass. So I ain't mad at him leaving no matter what.
I saw a bunch of people talking on NBA Twitter like, oh, Norman Powell's gone. The Miami Heat now have no one. It is just Giannis and Bam Adebayo. And with a loaded Eastern Conference, they are going to be in purgatory and not win a single thing. That's what I've been seeing. But I mean, I don't mind losing Norman Powell. I mean, for the Heat, that's completely fine. You guys got Tim Hardaway Jr., which I think is a very solid 3-and-D player. And for Powell, I mean, you kind of talked about it. It was just kind of empty stats out there.
Yeah, I'm not really sold on Norman Powell, so I'm not mad at him ultimately leaving. We're going to get to more moves here in just 1 second, but today's stream is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code HMA to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Listen, there's World Cup action every single day, and you can get in on the fun, make some cash while watching one of the biggest sporting events in the world. There is a max discount on Prize Picks today. More on Christian Pulisic. Half of passes attempted. Go take advantage of that. If you're like me, who had a lineup before the game started today, I had more on Harry Kane goal scored, which he had not one, but two. So 1 for 1 moving on. And I wish I knew there was a max discount coming. I put this in yesterday. More on Christian Pulisic, goal and assist, half. He's been unbelievable. I think he makes something happen for USA tonight in some fashion. That's one example of how you can play Prize Picks. Join us right now. Download the app. Use code HMA to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. That is code HMA to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Appreciate Prize Picks for sponsoring today's stream. Links in the live chat and description of each live show we're on.
The next signing, which I was okay with to start the morning, and now I'm not okay with it. Ariel Hukporti, the second-year guy from Germany, played with the Knicks last season. He signs a 1-year, $3.4 million deal with the 76ers, which kind of made sense. He wanted to kind of get paid a little more. He was only making, I think, $1.5 million with the Knicks. But for the Knicks to not go out and sign him, they're now left without a backup center.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll get to Mitchell Robinson here in a second more in-depthly, but it is interesting to see what the plan is for the Knicks there at the backup center. I always thought it was puzzling. I know our guy here at Knicks Now, Marshall Green, has said the same thing on Twitter and his live shows and videos. I never understood why the Knicks bypassed drafting one of the top centers on the board when they were on
we were live here on the channel when it happened.
At 24 when they were picking in the draft. Like, I was stunned that they passed up on that, or 25, and they ultimately took Sergio De La Rey and then traded him. Like, I don't know why they didn't take one of the better centers there, and I guess we'll have to see. There's been buzz that Nick Richards is an option where they might go after. I like Nick Richards a lot. He's one of my favorite vetmin targets for the Heat if they go get a backup true center. But if the New York Knicks offer him a little bit more, I don't know what you guys can offer in total, then that takes that away.
$10 million away from the second apron. $10 or $11 million away from the second apron. So you got to go very cheap.
Oh, so do you guys obviously don't have the non-taxpayer mid-levels, so you guys do you guys have the biannual or no?
I'm not 100. I think so, but I'm not 100%
sure. If you guys are already
sure.
in the first apron, I'm not sure you guys actually have be able to use that. So it might just have to be a vetman since it's an exterior free agent.
That would be literally Andre Drummond or Nick Richards.
Drummond said today that he doesn't want to take a discount.
What do you mean discount? You're an aging player. I know he's only, 32 years old at this point? He's still kind of young, but at this point in his career, when you saw with the 76ers last year where he's just going to go out there and give you 5 points and maybe 6 or 7 rebounds.
Now a shooter, though.
That's a vet. Well, yeah, corner threes out of nowhere. Shout out to Andre Drummond going the Brook Lopez route.
I will say, though, here, Alper, as we move on to the next quadrant of signings that has happened this morning, this is a very fascinating one. Is it the most blockbuster? No. But Nikola Vucevic returning back home. Javon Carter re-signs with Orlando. But Mo Wagner leaving Orlando. So in the span of about 10 minutes, Vucevic signs in Orlando to be the new backup center, and Wagner leaves to go to Brooklyn. So Wagner joins Keon Ellis as two guys who have signed with Brooklyn here in free agency on almost the same exact deal. Keon Ellis got 2 for 18. Wagner gets 2 for 19. And then you get Boston adding Mike Conley. And yeah, the Celtics made another move with Mitchell Robinson. We'll talk more about that one here in a second. But Conley, I'm really surprised he has still interested around the league. He was a non-factor last year in Minnesota.
I totally forgot he was even on the team.
To the point where he actually was released in a cap-saving move, only to be brought back on the vet min to be a bench guy. So if you're Boston, are you signing him to basically use him as a vet in the locker room and a borderline guy on the coaching staff like we saw in Miami with Udonis Haslem for years and even Kevin Love at the end there? Or are you signing him to actually get PT? Because if you sign Mike Conley to be actually playing off the bench in your guard rotation, I hate that move a lot.
I mean, it really doesn't make any sense to me. Like, did they pick up Delano Banton's option, or is he still a free agent?
I think he's gone.
If he's gone, so then you have Derek White, you have Peyton Pritchard, and Mike Conley. I mean, you kind of had to find a backup point guard, but then for such a little amount of deal, I don't think he's going to play at all.
Yeah.
I truly don't think he's going to play. Where are you going to fit him in a sense of, all right, let's have him as the third point guard, but still, even in the rotation, when you have Jaylen Brown, as of now, as your 2 guard, and then you also bring off the bench Baylor Shireman, it kind of just doesn't make any sense for them to go out and sign him.
Yeah, I don't think Conley's going to play a lot this year.
And then Vucevic, you're replacing, like going to the Magic, replacing Mo Wagner with Vucevic. Vucevic with the Celtics last year was one of the worst centers, and even when he was with Chicago, one of the worst centers that I have ever seen on the court at once. He was an absolute traffic cone.
I mean, I'm not going to act like Anfernee Simons did anything down the stretch anyway for Chicago, and he really actually didn't play at all. But I think that could go look back, like hindsight's 2020, as one of the worst trades in a long time.
Yeah, it was a dud from Brad
just
Stevens.
a Vucevic for a Simons swap, but Simons would have been very useful for Boston in that first-round series against Philadelphia. Vucevic was unplayable.
You could not play him.
Like, it's just one of the all-time head-scratching trades there by Brad Stevens. But here were the fireworks, folks. Speaking of the Celtics, your guy Mitchell Robinson leaves New York after winning a title, longest tenured Nick no more, getting the full mid-level exception to go to Boston and be their new starting center. I imagine he starts.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You think they're starting Neemias Queta?
I think they might start Neemias Queta. For Mitchell Robinson, like, he's never truly been a starter in his career, and you can't really, I mean, unless Joe Mazzulla wants to say, screw it, we're going to go against everything that Mitchell Robinson's been the last 4 years, playing him on back-to-backs, but he's never played like more than 25 minutes in his career.
I think that's fair, but I think you start him. I think you start him and then bring Queta, and you can, well, if you're going to use Mitchell Robinson as off the bench, you could do it in the same vein as maybe you're thinking, but I just feel like if you're paying Mitchell Robinson this money, and I understand he's been a backup in the last 3-4 years, but like, why not start him if you're paying him $15 million per year?
I mean, I totally agree. I just don't know if he's has the capability of being a starter, especially if they like. I mean, Neemias Queta, I don't believe is better than Mitchell Robinson, but in a sense of Mitchell Robinson can give you that boost off the bench in a rebound and kind of just your lob threat for whoever's on the court, especially with a guy like Peyton Pritchard who's coming off the bench.
So let me just get this right. I will flash it back a day ago. You were upset that this guy was not in the top 10 free agents available before anyone signed anywhere.
Yep.
And now you're up here telling me you don't think he could start.
I think he's worth more than I think he's worth $60 million.
You think he's worth 20 per year?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
Because I mean, if we want to go into the deal right after, that is the biggest overpay I've seen all offseason.
Yeah, we're going to get into the Lakers talk because they traded for Walker Kessler, then signed to a big deal, got Mamu, got Quentin Grimes, as well as Collin Sexton. But we got over 300 people on the stream, and we need to get the likes clicked.
Come on.
Let's get to a 50% like rate here. Let's get to 150 on the Heat Report. We're mogging the NBA Now chat.
What are we doing here?
We got
Come
500 people in
here
the building.
Here on Chat Sports.
My Heat fans,
come on.
We're representing. Let's go. Heat. Sorry. Anyway, Heat fans, also hit that thumbs up icon, though. We got 50 likes. Let's get to 150 right now. So we're not only mogging the NBA Now stream and viewers, but we're also mogging them in likes.
You're
hit
telling me out of Chat Sports, which is covering all 30 teams and obviously 29 because everybody's on the Heat channel, the Heat channel is outviewing NBA Now and outliking of fans of 29 other teams. Come on. You got to be better than that. Hit that thumbs up icon right now. Let's show these Heat fans
that's what we do, folks.
What you're made of.
That's what we do.
It's one team.
That's what we do over there. We got motion, twin. We got motion. Keep on hitting that thumbs up icon.
Got that Giannis motion.
All jokes aside, though, it does really help us out a ton when we're able to get more likes, pushes our stream out there, shows our bosses we can go live more.
Oh, yeah.
We plan on going live today. Tomorrow being live on the channel is up in the air. It's all dependent on how the stream does. So more likes, more views, more comments, more subscribers. That will tell us maybe we should go live tomorrow for day 3 of NBA Free Agency. It's truly up to you guys. If you are enjoying it, hit that thumbs up icon, let us know, and maybe that means we're going live again tomorrow.
We also are still doing Bean Boozled for every 100 likes.
Oh.
Do we have the Bean Boozled in here?
We'll have to go get it. But every 100 likes, one of the hosts is going to have to do a Bean Boozled.
Producer Ethan, go get it.
Intern Ethan.
Yeah,
intern.
Ethan.
You know how it works. Anyone who actually isn't producing is an intern.
I literally walked in here yesterday during a World Cup stream, and I got called Intern Alper.
Yeah, I mean... Well, if you're in the studio of a show that isn't being the host or actual button clicker producer, you are an intern.
You are intern.
That is the technical definition.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we're at 76. We are 24 away from 100. Can we get to 100 before intern Ethan comes back? No, that's just not happening.
Did you get the good one or the bad one? Good one. Nice job, Ethan.
What, with all the toothpaste?
That'd be correct. Actually, can you do a favor, Ethan, and go get Alper a separate one? Because I'm going to keep this one over here.
18 likes away. Gary Shelton, you guys are great. Give real info, no fluff. Thanks for the great show. Appreciate you, Gary.
All right, yeah, keep on hitting that like button. Let's get over to 100 likes on NBA Now. We're at 83. Shout out to my Heat guys. 126. You guys are awesome.
Shout out to the NBA
All right, let's get
Now
back,
fans.
though, to talking some real hoops. Because the Lakers, they did a lot. They traded two unprotected first-round picks and 2 pick swaps to the Jazz to get Walker Kessler on a 4-year, $130 million deal. That comes out to $32.5 million per season for Kessler. Then they backed that up by signing Sandru Mamu. I just call him Mamu because I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name, on a full mid-level deal, which I actually like. Me and Alper were talking about it before we went live. I'm a fan of Mamu,
like
14 per year, but then you give Quentin Grimes 15 per year, which I think is an interesting one. I actually, out of all the moves the Lakers made in free agency, let's take away the Kessler trade. Grimes is my least favorite. I think he's a very good player, but 15 per season I think is a bit egregious because I do like the Collin Sexton deal. This is a player that can put the ball in the deck. He shoots 40% from 3. He's a competitor. He has a high motor. He works hard. He is someone that will come off that bench for LA, backing up Reeves and Luka, and be a nice change of pace for that team. And I like him on, 2 for 19? So 9.5 per season. I think that's a good deal for Collin Sexton. So out of the moves that the Lakers made here, Mamu's a good one. I like Sexton. Grimes is questionable, but let's focus in now on the Walker Kessler because that's going to be the headliner. We had Kessler as our 3rd best free agent available. He was a restricted free agent. They bypassed signing an offer sheet and just straight up say, let's just trade and extend him per se, or it's a sign and trade, however you want to say it. The Jazz, who weren't willing to go to the $30 million per year threshold, Alper,
which we talked about yesterday.
We knew that.
Yep.
So they don't lose them for anything, though. They get 2 unprotected first and 2 swaps out of it.
This is an absolute fleece from the Utah Jazz. And look, we talked about a little bit earlier, I think it was yesterday, where Walker Kessler, the Lakers needed to get a center. But for Walker Kessler, for him only in his last year he played, 6 games? And if you go to the year before, he only averages 11 and 11 rebounds, 11 and 11. Is that worth $100 million? I don't think so. And for the Lakers to just say, screw it, we're going to throw away our future because right now they do not have any tradable picks for the next 7 years. Do you really think that Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, we'll see if Sandro or Jake LaRavia plays, Jared Vanderbilt and Walker Kessler are winning you a title? Absolutely not. They got a good offense, but they got absolutely no defense with Luka, who doesn't play defense, Austin Reeves, who doesn't really play defense, Collin Sexton, who doesn't play defense. I don't like what the Lakers are doing at all, and I think this is going to absolutely backfire on them. I think it is going to by far backfire on this team because they really don't have, but besides Walker Kessler, you're going to rely on DeAndre Ayton as your front court. I think Rob Pelinka is kind of scrambling here. I don't think he realized that LeBron was going to leave. I don't think they truly thought.
You don't think so? I feel like, I don't even know if they wanted to bring him back anyway.
This team has, we talked about it before the show, 45, 46 wins. I think middle of the pack Western Conference team. They have no defense besides Kessler.
Yeah, I will say.
And Grimes, if you want to consider him your 3-and-D guy, who's going to be coming off the bench.
I actually think they might start Grimes. After thinking about it, I think they might start him at the 3. He's a bit undersized, but
you could start him at the 3.
Who else are they going to start at the 3? Jake LaRavia, Jared Vanderbilt?
I think they'll start Vanderbilt at the 4.
No, I think they would start Mamo.
They think they start Sandro?
If I had to put money on it right now, and obviously things can change, but I think it's going to be Luka, Reeves, Grimes, Mamu, Kessler. That's your starting 5. Sexton coming off the bench, LaRavia off the bench, Vanderbilt off the bench, Cameron Carr off the bench. Maybe they make more moves. We'll have to see. Or DeAndre Ayton coming off the bench. He's still there if they don't trade him.
I think LaRavia is a bad player. And for Sandro, let's say you do start him. I think he's a solid player, but when he was with the Toronto Raptors, he was averaging 15, 20 minutes a game. Now can you rely on him to play 25, 30, even 35 minutes a game with the current team that they have assembled?
It's interesting. Is that team going to compete with the Spurs and Thunder? Absolutely not. But is there a world where everything goes the correct way? They stay healthy, they gel well, and they're the 3rd best team in the conference? I think that's possible. Would I put them there now? No. We still got a long way to go in the offseason, and who knows what the Warriors end up doing. Do they get LeBron?
Yeah.
What happens in Denver? I would probably say, being someone who is a little reserved on the Lakers' moves, I'm going to say they probably end up being the 5th or 6th seed in the West this year.
If LeBron goes to the Warriors, you know what to do. If LeBron goes to the Warriors, I think the Lakers are a 7th seed. And I was saying it earlier.
So you just because you'd put the Warriors over them
in
that vein? Okay.
We talked about it. I would say you're obviously 2 teams in San Antonio and OKC. It's borderline. I think the Nuggets are better. It's borderline if you want to say the Timberwolves. We'll see how this team works with LaMelo Ball. I have no idea. And then kind of the Warriors. So that leaves them at, 7? Am I missing teams? But you guys let us know. What do you think? Grade the Lakers free agency so far. I give it a C.
Give it a C. I think I'd be a little bit better than that. I don't love it, but I'll go B-. I'll go B-. If you told Lakers fans, listen, take away the contracts. If you told Lakers fans they got Grimes, Sexton, Mamu, and Kessler in free agency, they'd be pretty happy about that. I think they'd be thrilled. We just both believe that Kessler was a bit of an overpay because of the
and now you've no future with
draft
the 2
capital,
first-round picks.
and I understand why we both believe that, but I do think if you take away the contracts of it, which I know you can't do, those are 4 good players. They're all good players joining that Lakers team. So the Lakers got better. Honestly, here's a legit question.
Better?
Would you have rather? No, this is a serious question.
Okay.
As you guys continue to grade, I see a lot of C's, a lot of D's, a lot of B's. Would you have rather ran it back, re-sign Rui, re-sign LeBron, or do what you did now? Because I think you are a better team now than you were last time.
I would have re-signed Rui, re-signed LeBron, and if I could choose, if I could still bring in Sandro, I would do that 100%.
Well, they cleared a lot of cap space so they could take in Kessler. They can make these moves with all of these exceptions, right? Because, think about it. They used the mid-level, non-taxpayer mid-level on Sandro and then went over the non-taxpayer mid-level, or vice versa, however you want to phrase it, on Grimes. So, they were not capable of doing these additions if you re-signed a Rui Hachimura and LeBron to a relatively big contract. So they opted more for flexibility and for agency and sign these guys. I'm telling you, no slight on LeBron or Rui. I think both the guys are still really good players. I would rather have done what the Lakers have done than re-sign those two guys and run it back.
I would have also just drafted a center.
Yeah.
At the 24th
Cam
pick.
Carr was also the best
he was
player
the best player
though.
available, but I would have went out and drafted a center. And I don't know, maybe it's just I think I'm overhyping LeBron because I watched that series against the Rockets and it felt like LeBron just completely took over that entire series and beat them themselves. But for Luka and Reeves as your backcourt, which I think is going to be amazing in the offensively, I think they might be one of the worst defensive teams in the league.
Might. That's definitely going to happen.
And in the NBA, you need to play defense.
That is definitely going to happen. All right, Super Chat menu on today's show. We have not got a Super Chat on any stream so far. Every 100 likes is a Bean Boozled. So we got 100.
I'll take the first. I think you
Alfred's
did the
taking
one
the
last
first, yeah.
time. I'll do the first one.
$5 we'll talk about your team. For my Heat people watching, obviously this is a simulcast. And if you guys want to be talked about, you're going to have to Super Chat. It's just this, unfortunately, the nature of how this simulcast will work. If you guys want me to talk about something Miami related, the only way to guarantee that is if we are Super Chatting and pushing that into our show. $20 we'll do a Bean Boozled outright, and then $50 we'll do a beer bong. We didn't get a $50 Super Chat, I don't think, yesterday, right?
No. So after you left, because I was very, very annoyed of how little signings we'd made, I said, by the time we started and went off, I will do a beer bong if we got a player to sign for more than $10 million a year, and we did not get one.
Yeah, we didn't get that last night. The best signing while you were live was Timmy Hardaway, baby.
Timmy Hardaway, which I got burnt rubber or black licorice, which is mid both flavor.
I feel like that's a pretty bad one because even the good isn't good. I'm not a licorice guy, personally.
I honestly can't tell if this tastes like licorice or burnt rubber. It's bad either way.
How is that possible?
I think that was burnt rubber.
I don't know how it's possible. All right, as we continue on here, talking about the latest in the NBA, 30 minutes into the stream, it's ironic how we went live and, well, there's been no signing in the last 30 minutes. But there is still a lot to recap here that happened this morning. So we'll continue to move on because after the flurry of signings from the Los Angeles Lakers, D'Anthony Melton, who opted out of a contract with Golden State, re-signed with Golden State on a 2-year, $11 million deal, so they used their biannual exception there, $5.5 per season. Elijah Martin with a 2-year deal back to Toronto. Jonathan Isaac, after being waived by the Magic, signs back on a 1-year deal. TBA on what the...
It's got to be a vet min, right?
I would assume, but no idea what the details are right now, and I actually do believe now, Mr. Alper and Jack, is that the most recent move in the NBA?
I think that's the most recent
I think it
move.
is.
Oh, Jameer Watkins on a 2-way deal.
I'll take a Bean Boozled if you know where he went to school without looking it up. Because he was an undrafted free agent last year.
Was it do I know this school?
Yes, you know.
Is it a mid-major?
It's a Power 4.
I'll go with Utah.
Florida State was the answer we were looking for.
Damn it.
Florida State was the answer we're looking for. We did get a $5 super chat to kick us off on our chat sports stream. Shout out to Timberwolf Taylor for starting it off. We'll get that on screen here in a second and talk about whatever you said here once it came into our software. Here it is. If the Pistons can't keep Jalen Duren, which, by the way, Is there a better winner than the Pistons right now with how things are progressing with Duren? Because the Lakers and Kings were the two reported teams that were interested.
Yep.
Lakers went a different direction with Walker Kessler. The Kings are the other team, but they have no space. So the Kings would have to do a sign and trade, obviously. And maybe they are still open to that, and the Pistons get Domantas Sabonis back, which would be an awful move, by the way. And so maybe the Pistons are going to be able to hold on to Duren on a cheaper price tag than originally believed. But let's read it off. What's a good non-Sabonis return? So he says, like the player, not the defensive fit. Couldn't agree more. So let's look at the Sacramento Kings cap table.
Well, I mean, we do have the report from, I think, multiple reporters of the NBA that it is a complete switch of what we heard from previous days. It started off as the Pistons did not want to pay Jalen Duren, and they were going to look to, all right, we'll sign and trade him. He was going to go meet with the Lakers. He was going to go meet with the Kings. And then a day later, the Pistons kind of retracted everything and said, actually, we are going to match whatever deal you give anybody. We are not trading Duren. We are re-signing him. And if somebody else wants to sign him, we're going to match that deal, which they have 2 days for. But obviously, kind of like the Kessler thing, if a team comes out of nowhere and says, we'll give you 2 firsts, unprotected, maybe that comes into a possibility that they would do a sign and trade. I'm not 100% sure, but it feels like...
Before I chime in here, I want to say something. Crunky Jaden, don't be doing that on the Heat channel. We don't rage. We don't bait people like that. So if you do it again, you're out of here. You don't do it.
What was he doing?
He just said that the Heat just signed Anfernee Simons. We do not lie.
Yeah, we don't lie here.
So do not try to act like something happened around the Heat on that channel, or you
like Nightmare right here. Yeah, you keep doing that, you'll get put in timeout real quick.
Well, actually, if I'm looking at it, it's the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 comments where people saying something was happening.
So please do not act as if something happened when it does not. If it does happen, okay, you guys can say that, and but like it's not. So don't, because it's incredibly frustrating.
Yes, it's very frustrating.
Anyway, back to the Kings. What do you think Duren goes for? You think like?
I think he. Well, with what? Do we think he gets?
You're guessing 40?
He's got to get more than Kessler.
Yeah,
100%. I think he's double the player as Kessler is.
So like, here's the thing: like, if the Kings want Jalen Duren though, then they're gonna trade Sabonis back because they're not gonna have Duren and Sabonis making $40 million. So
yeah.
You ask about a non-Sabonis return. If you rework it into a 3-team deal where Sabonis goes to a 3rd team in this sign and trade, okay, maybe we can have a discussion here. But I don't anticipate that being. So I think Sabonis would be heading back to Detroit if that ended up happening in a sign and trade to Sacramento. But if you're able to work in somehow a 3rd team, Sabonis makes $45 million, Duren probably gets 40 or 45, and you just replace that contract in Sacramento with Jalen Duren's. And if you want something valuable heading back to Detroit, could I interest you in DeAndre Hunter? And I know they trade Keon Ellis for him, so maybe they would want to get rid of him. Or wouldn't want to get rid of him, but he makes $24.9 million. Would you rather have him or DeMar DeRozan? Because I doubt you guys would want Zach LaVine at 50 or 48.9 million.
They should not want Zach LaVine at all.
But that also would be an expiring because this was a player option he opted into. There's buzz around the league that he can get waived and stretched.
Yeah, and then he's a Heat, according to you?
Correct. If LaVine ends up going on the free agents market after being waived and stretched, he's signing with Miami instantly.
That would be crazy. We'll get to more of free agency, kind of recapping everything that's going on in just a second, ladies and gentlemen. But we got to tell you about our sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. It's the best place to win cash while watching sports. Look, I was doing a lineup literally earlier today in the soccer game. Didn't work out so well. Thanks, Harry Kane, for absolutely taking over. But you can also play lineups in golf. You can play lineups in motorsports, play lineups in baseball. It does not matter. Even season-long lineups for football season and in basketball season. And you guys can also follow me on the app to see all my lineups at The Real Alper. Get the picks before they get posted on the show. And Rolly, you got this lineup, and so far looking so good. $10 to win. I think that is $25. Had the more on Harry Kane, and he had 2 goals, so that one is already good. Could have used the max discount if he just waited until this morning to get there. He has the more on half. I think that is a goal or assist, but we also got more max discounts. You got 2 max discounts for the next couple of days. Got the max discount on Saturday, right? Saturday. Got the max discount on Quinten Post to get just a pass, but you also have the max discount on Mr. Joey Chestnut, and I can guarantee you that he's going to eat more than 1 hot dog. Add that to a lineup, and then use more player projections for lineups. All you got to do is just pick more or less and then lock in your lineup. And there's a new user offer. You download the Prize Picks app today. Use code HMA to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. The link is in the live chat for you guys. That's code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. So let's take a look at the top free agents available. And I'll be honest, there's not many left after the top 4.
Pretty bleak, man. Pretty bleak.
And Jalen Duren, he's a restricted free agent. So anybody that signs him, I can guarantee you that Detroit, as they've said before,
yeah, I think they said
they're matching.
Match, yeah.
They're matching no matter what. So you have LeBron, which they're down to, I think he says anybody can come out and try to convince him to sign with their team, but the favorites are the Miami Heat, the Golden State Warriors. You also have the Cleveland Cavaliers. All of them kind of have a little connection to LeBron in some sort. Tobias Harris, I don't know what team would be a good fit for him.
So it's interesting you bring that up because number 3 and number 4 are going to be heavily connected to each other. What do I mean by that? Well, there's a team out west in San Antonio that is looking to upgrade their 4 spot. Yes, they signed Julian Champagnie to a 3-year extension, and he was phenomenal in their playoff run to the finals. But let's be real here. If they want to take the next step, you're going to need someone better. And adding a guy like Rui Hachimura, who I would, if I was San Antonio, I would prioritize over Tobias Harris. Even though Tobias might be better in a vacuum, Rui is a better fit because he is way better off the ball, especially as a shooter. We saw that in the postseason series with the Lakers against the Rockets and the Thunder. So there's buzz. Jake Fisher noted that Harris and Rui are 2 prime targets for the San Antonio Spurs. Now, where does the other one go? If the other gets a job in San Antonio, that's a great question. But I would be willing to bet a decent chunk of change that Rui could be heading to San Antonio or Tobias Harris. I'll add this. The 76ers still have some space. I think the Sixers should go after Rui Hachimura. They haven't re-signed Kelly Oubre. Quentin Grimes left in free agency, so they've got some space to make an addition. And you look at that lineup, and we briefly talked about it yesterday, but you have Maxey, Edgecombe, Paul George, Joel Embiid, question mark. Well, who fits in that front court pretty well? Rui or Tobias Harris. And I think Rui Hachimura, once again, because you already have an on-ball guy in Maxey and Embiid and even Edgecombe and Paul George, that Rui's a better fit there. So I think the most likely destinations for Hachimura, to me, are Philadelphia and San Antonio. We'll see, though. He's one of the better free agents still available.
I do like a fit for Rui Hachimura in Philadelphia. I mean, they did sign Dean Wade this morning or last night, whatever it was.
So maybe they start him there. But
they could start him, but behind him, behind Dean Wade, you have Dominic Barlow, who's, I guess you could say, is a decent scorer, but way more of a defender. And then Justin Edwards, who has been back and forth between the G League nonstop. You put in Rui Hachimura, he's a solid guy that you could either start him or bring off the bench for a little kind of energy to this team. I would like him in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think that's a really good fit. Tari Eason was number 5 on our list, but he is a restricted free agent. It is unlikely that he leaves the Rockets. I think an extension gets agreed upon there. Same thing could be said about Peyton Watson, the Nuggets wing. He's kind of just waiting in the wings to see what happens there as a restricted free agent. And then you've got a couple intriguing guys. Anfernee Simons, someone that I really want my Miami Heat to sign. I think he's that perfect backcourt creator, both off the bounce, in isolation, and off the catch that Miami needs. He's still out there. What is he going to get? I would imagine maybe something close to what Collin Sexton got. I think both are very similar in terms of their value around the league and what their skill sets are. So we'll keep an eye on Simons. Jonathan Kuminga is an unrestricted free agent. There's buzz that Sacramento would want them, but as we've noted, they don't have any space. So how are they going to get him? Well, maybe they do waive and stretch Zach LaVine. Maybe they do waive DeMar DeRozan, which has been heavily rumored. So if they want Kuminga, they're going to have to find a way to shed salary between LaVine and DeRozan.
How much can they afford? Because
they can't afford anything.
For Kuminga, I don't know of another team that is going to want him. The Warriors wanted to get rid of him for the longest time. The Hawks had a chance to keep him, which I thought it would have been a smart move for them to keep Jonathan Kuminga, but they don't want him. Who else in the NBA is going to look at Jonathan Kuminga and say, yeah, I think he'd be a good fit for our team? The only team that I could possibly see him going to is Sacramento. I don't think his value is going to be as high as he thinks it is, as he took that gamble with the Warriors instead of trying to go for a bigger contract, and it hasn't worked out for him. So it's kind of like, hey, buddy, you're going to have to sign somewhere, and you're not going to get the same amount of money as what you think you were going to get because you're not worth the value.
Yeah, they're already in the first apron. Sacramento.
Yeah, you're not signing Jonathan Kuminga.
You can't sign anyone, like I said, unless you shed major salary. So like I said, only way you get a guy like Kuminga is if you are able to waive one of LaVine or DeRozan, which absolutely is on the table. Rounding out our top 10, Bennedict Mathurin, who's a restricted free agent. I do think he gets anything matched from Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. He kind of fits what they're doing as a youth movement squad. I'm not going to say they're going to be fun, but Garland, Ingram, Keaton Wagler, Mathurin, and fill in whoever you want at center. It's something that fans may want to go see.
Hey, don't forget about Kobe Sanders.
Yeah, Kobe Sanders as well. And Kelly Oubre, I already forgot who he's meeting with, but he does have a couple meetings lined up. Do we have that? Do we know? I would assume maybe we built that social yesterday. There it is. You just passed it. Kelly Oubre. Going to meet with the Sixers, Pacers, Blazers, and Lakers. I think Los Angeles is probably ruled out.
Yeah,
after
check the Lakers
all
off
the other
box.
signings. But Indiana, Portland, and Philly, 3 teams that Oubre has been linked to and will meet with. Rounding out our kind of top 20, you kind of have a group of centers here, and Andre Drummond, Jaxson Hayes, and Nick Richards. You'd imagine Jaxson Hayes' time in LA is done unless they find a trade partner for DeAndre Ayton, because what are they going to bring him back as that third big behind both Ayton and
it makes no
Kessler?
Sense
I don't know. So has to be a domino to fall to have Jaxson Hayes return there. If his stock is in the gutter, I tell you what, him on the vet min in Miami, I don't think I would complain that much about that.
I wouldn't mind him on the vet min in New York.
Yeah, speaking of vet min options, Bradley Beal opted out of his $5.6 million player option. A fragile player. Can he stay on the court? No, not really. But, hey, there's obviously a lot of intrigue there on if he could rehab his stock. Nic Batum available as well. Who's the more intriguing guy to your opinion, Elper? Are these 5?
I would probably say Nick Richards. I think out of everybody, he's, I think, the youngest and most talented compared to Bradley Beal, who probably is the most talented out of all these guys, but he's old and he hasn't really stayed healthy his entire career. For Richards, I mean, he doesn't give you a lot, but if you can get him on the vet minimum, solid, efficiency, and a nice guy to come off the bench to just go out and get boards and play defense.
7 feet, with a 7'3" wingspan. He's got good length. He rebounds really good in limited opportunities. You see his numbers on screen, but that's not a lot of minutes he was playing last year between Phoenix and Chicago.
I mean, when he was in Charlotte, I thought of him as one of the premier guys to come off the bench for that team.
Yeah, I mean,
especially at
Phoenix
the
traded
center.
a lot of second-round picks to get him.
Yeah.
And then just a couple years later, they move off of him.
You know, I got to support my Kentucky guy.
Yeah. Final 5. Khris Middleton. Maybe I was a little bit – I mean, like, I got to be honest. I felt bad putting Khris Middleton 16 because, like, he's not a guy that's really that impactful. But you compare him to the rest of the guys available – I mean, maybe Bruce Brown, maybe Josh Okogie, but Khris Middleton's right there with like Westbrook and Bagley in terms of value across the league. Like, so you look at it, it's like once you get outside of the top 10 free agents we name, it gets pretty dicey. And guys like these guys on screen, they're all going to be vet mints.
Every single one of them. I don't even know if Westbrook is going to get signed by someone at this point. I love Russell Westbrook. He can still go out there and get you a triple-double, but he is inefficient. He's not a winning basketball player. He's not going to get your teammates any way, shape, or form better. Even coming off the bench, it's kind of like he's just a guy. And that's why he was playing in Sacramento, because Sacramento has every player that's just a guy.
Yeah, so we just named our top 20 free agents still available. It is truly somehow unbelievable that we went live on a day that there's been a lot of action in the league, and since we've gone live, it's been 47 minutes, and we haven't had a single signing. It's ridiculous. But let us know who is your number one free agent available, not named LeBron James. Heck, I'll go one step further. Take Jalen Duren out of the conversation as well. No LeBron, no Jalen Duren. Who's the best guy available? I know I put Tobias Harris third on our list. I actually would lean Rui Hachimura.
I would lean Rui. It's either one of those two guys. It's you're going to get a solid two-way type of player who can 3-and-D. That's about it.
I got a bunch of guys on my Heat stream. Thousand Eyes, Carey, Master, Ronald, all saying Anfernee Simons. I'll say this. If you had to label the best free agent for the Miami Heat, it is Anfernee Simons. But in a vacuum, it is probably Rui Hachimura.
Like as a Knicks fan, the top guy I would put is Andre Drummond or Nick Richards.
Yeah.
Which are guys that are all the way in the top 10s of best free agents.
Ronald says, wait, what?
No, Kevin Love?
Not in your top 20? Yeah. Respect to Kevin Love in his career.
Decrepit Kevin Love?
He is a glorified head coach or assistant
He's the Udonis role.
Yeah, he went full Udonis Haslem on us. He went full Udonis Haslem on us. Did he even play at all in Utah last year?
Maybe like 2 games. I gotta check this. Kevin Love. Yeah, he played some games last year. He played in 37.
That is surprising.
37, 6.7 points per game, 6 rebounds, 40% shooting, 37 from 3.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been able to shoot it. He was a great pickup on the buyout market for Miami when they got him the 3 years ago. He was phenomenal in that like half a season. Then Miami signed him to a 2-year deal, and the rest is history. All right, we got a super chat, Mr. Jack Latteray. My guy Wasim Khan.
Yes, we do.
And sent in a $5 super chat. So let's react to what Mr. Wasim had to say. Sup, guys? Happy 4th of July weekend. LeBron lands in Miami. Ooh, you think so? Make them the favorites in the Eastern Conference. I say no.
I'm going to say no.
Would they be the second favorites? I say yes. A hard time for me to believe that no matter what Miami were to do this offseason, they would unseat New York as the favorites in the Eastern Conference because they did just win the NBA Finals.
They're not the favorites, though, by the way.
Is it Boston?
It's Boston.
Then never mind. Yes, we would be the favorites.
I could tell you them right now. Boston is number 1 at plus 260. The Knicks are second at plus 320. And the Raptors are third at plus 800. And then it's your Miami
Don't get me on a tangent with the Raptors.
And then it's your Miami Heat at plus 900.
I think if they had LeBron, we'd become the favorites. On the books. Should they be? No. I think it would go still New York, Miami, Boston, and then whoever you want to say it. I think the books would make us the favorite, though.
I think the books has some fascination with Boston that no matter what happens, Boston is going to stay at that number 1 spot.
I would disagree.
I think they have a massive bias.
I think
right now Jalen Brown's still on the team.
If they got LeBron, the books are going to capitalize on that, make them the favorites, and then cash in when they ultimately don't win the Eastern Conference.
It's just I saw it last year where they were the favorites the second Jason Tatum came back.
Well, to be fair, that was
Achilles.
rightfully so.
I didn't think they were even.
They're the second best team in the conference in the regular season without Jason Tatum. You bring them back, obviously they're going to be the favorites.
They've been the favorites for the last 5-6 years.
Listen, you're letting your Knicks bias show here. I'm a big as a Celtics hater as there is, as a Heat guy, but we just got to put the bias aside here. That was the right decision by the books to have them be the favorites.
Well, we got a signing. Thank God. Kelly Oubre, 2 years, $17 million to the Indiana Pacers.
Wow. Oh, my! More importantly, folks, maybe not importantly, but we just got a massive super chat on the Heat channel. Yes.
Oh, my. So is that 2 beer bongs?
You don't have to do one. I will be doing one, though. Really, I haven't seen this. I don't know why my freaking tweet deck isn't updated. That's annoying, but hopefully it starts.
Get away from the Boston bias from me.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Yeah, wow. Kelly Oubre Jr., a 2-year, $17 million deal to the Indiana Pacers. We're going to break that down here in 1 second. But, oh, my guy Charmander with a bang over on the Heat Report. My guy, just saying hi. What's
just
up, Charmander? One of the more out-of-nowhere legends. This was a guy that was sending me super thanks during the Giannis saga, asking me about daily updates on the percent chance Miami gets him. We know how big he came in during the first night of the NBA draft, and now he comes in with a big-time super chat here on day 2 of NBA free agency. Charmander, you are an absolute legend. I am going to go grab a beer bong. So if you actually want to go full screen Alper and let him just briefly talk about Kelly Oubre while I grab that in return, that would be appreciated. But Alper, going to break down the most recent signing here in the NBA. We finally got one after being live for 52 minutes. Kelly Oubre Jr. heading to Indiana. Heat fans, I'll be right back.
2 years, $17 million to the Indiana Pacers for Kelly Oubre Jr. And look, he has been a solid player for the Philadelphia 76ers for the last 2 years, averaging 14 points per game last season, 5 rebounds, a little bit efficient shooter. There were multiple times where he would come off the bench for the 76ers and just provide an absolute spark to that team. There would be times where you would see, and out of nowhere, he would score 10 straight points. He did it against the Knicks in the semifinals, where granted, they did get swept, but he did take over some games, and he could also provide you some defense, provide you some kind of starting role for the Pacers. Right now, I got to look at the Pacers roster because I just know that Halliburton's coming back, and they still have Naismith, don't they? I think that's about it who they have. But I don't mind this. Not a lot of money for Kelly Oubre, only $8.5 million a year. Let's look at the Pacers roster as they have Halliburton. They did get Zubats. They have Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Naismith. I would definitely say that he is going to be probably their 6-man coming off the bench with TJ McConnell. I like this signing for the Indiana Pacers, even though I can't stand them. So I'll see what happens. We got another super chat from Wasim, and it's not even basketball related. I told you my thoughts on Oubre. I like the signing. I mean, I think he's probably going to be their 6-man. 2 years, $17 million. Right now, they really don't have much bench outside of Obi Toppin and Jarris Walker. It's kind of just they needed to get some depth on the team, and Kelly Oubre provides depth from their starting 5. Like I said, they're getting Halliburton back. They're getting Zubats. They have TJ McConnell, but that's about it. What do you think of it? What do you think of it, Rolly?
Oubre.
It's a depth piece for Indiana.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think Oubre is a very solid basketball player. I mean, I do. I think he's going to be
he's a spark.
Someone who comes off the bench, gives them some solid minutes. He fits kind of what they're looking for as fully guaranteed
guaranteed.
Where he fits kind of what they need off the bench, right? After trying to rebound after a really disappointing season a year ago, where they finished in the top 4 of worst records and then lost their pick because they traded for Zubac. I mean, Indiana's going to be a team to be reckoned with, folks. I mean, they got Halliburton, obviously. They still got Andrew Nembhard, Siakam,
Zubac,
Aaron Nesmith, Zubac. Now you add Oubre to that bench. So that team's going to be competitive in the Eastern Conference. That is for sure. This is exactly the type of player that the Pacers needed.
100%.
All right, Charmander, I already grabbed my watermelon Happy Dad, and I already poured it up here. So it's time to do a beer bong for my guy. I also got 2 more super chats coming in on the Heat Report, which we'll get to here in just 1 second. Things get a little wet and wild here on a Wednesday.
Wet and wild on a Wednesday.
Shout out to y'all for tuning in and hanging out with us here on day 2 of NBA Free Agency.
All right, Wasim, what does Team USA do tonight? Win or lose? I think we lose. Yeah. Bosnia and Herzegovina? I do. I'm the only one that thinks that. I think we've overachieved.
I think it goes to extra time.
I think we lose.
I have placed a prediction on this to be tied after 90 minutes.
I've placed it on Bosnia. A lot of money. You can crucify me all you want. Of course I told everybody out there. Yeah. I was the only one to say I think Bosnia wins. Bosnia's scrappy. They're scrappy. And look, there were rumors because, well, we have no idea what the Team USA would have done. There were rumors that if this wasn't in America, we might not have made the tournament because of how bad we were. We are overachieving so much. I think they're going to get shocked.
I don't think that's true. All right, my guy Charmander coming with a $20 super chat, which is a Bean Boozled one, but this is a question for you, Alper.
Oh, there it goes.
We'll get to Jay's $5 super chat in a second.
Which team do I like the most of all time?
He's warning you. Choose wisely.
What do you mean choose wisely? It's the team that just won the NBA Finals.
I don't know if he's asking what's your favorite team of all time, though.
My favorite team of all time, like any sport?
I don't know. Maybe he's asking basketball. Charmander, if you're in the live chat, you don't need the super chat. It's the follow-up. Do you mean in basketball, or do you mean like all time across all sports in a year? Like, what are you asking for?
I mean, my favorite basketball team of all time is obviously the 25-26 Knicks, but my favorite team of all time is the 2014 Patriots. That is my favorite team by far. I think it was a perfectly built team. And, oh, man, 10 years ago now? No, that's even longer. 11 years ago now, they won the Super Bowl. It was Malcolm Butler interception. It's my favorite team of all time. No. Seahawks, 10-year drought, won the Super Bowl. Unbelievable. Appreciate you, Charmander.
Jay Townsend with a 5. By the way, that $20, I'm no joke. I really looked down. It's 50%. I don't know what to tell you.
More toothpaste for this man.
50% of the beans are blue, though. What do you want me to do? It's statistically going to be a blue
Now,
guy.
what do you think? Do you think you're finally going to get Very Berry, or is it going to be toothpaste?
I think it's going to be toothpaste. I don't think berry blue exists. It doesn't exist.
It's toothpaste again.
Yeah.
Joe Townsend, $5 super chat. Appreciate you.
Jay
Townsend?
My guy Jay.
That's J-A-E?
What'd you say?
I said Joe. I thought that was an O.
That's insulting. You be quiet.
My
now.
bad, Jay. I can't
answer.
read. My eyesight is terrible, but appreciate your 5.
Why do you suppose that Simons hasn't signed anyone yet? Lakers signed Sexton, Grimes. I'm still hoping for Duncan. Well, Jay, unfortunately, it was reported today by Chris Haynes and Brett Siegel that the Pistons are no longer going to, because before that moves off screen, that's going to be a sign-and trade rather than an actual signing, and which means they don't have to waive him to make room for him. So unless the Heat trade for Duncan, I don't think that's going to happen. And when you're asking about why do you think Simons hasn't signed yet, I just don't know if the market for him is as robust as he would have liked. I think Simons is a really good basketball player, but his role in the NBA is also borderline pretty niche, right? He is a guy that is, I would argue, he's more athletic, but he's like Tyler Hero, but like
smaller,
worse, right? And,
Can you be worse than Tyler Hero at defense?
Well, I'm not talking just defense. I'm just talking overall as a player.
Okay, because I think Simons is a spark plug. Like, he could take over at any point. He can make 7 threes in a span of 20 minutes, but then defensively, he's a traffic cone.
Right. So it's like the question is, what are teams willing to offer a guard who is a volume scorer? He is efficient, but he's more of a volume guy and doesn't really defend that well. Well, I just don't know if there's going to be a lot of teams out there willing to sign him to a $10, $15 million deal instantly, which is why it may be something that as time goes on, his market goes down, and then he signs for a little bit more cheap. And that's what I think Miami may be hoping for, to where he comes down to $6.5 million per year, and Miami maybe can scoop him up with the rest of their non-taxpayer mid-level. Sexton obviously off the board, Grimes off the board, so Simons is really that number one guy that's out there to potentially start at the 2 guard. If we're going to be completely honest, guys, like, it's Simons, LeBron, or we're in trouble. Because I wouldn't start Bradley Beal. I don't know what other move is out there to where you can find a starting 2 guard, unless you plan on starting Pella, or if you really believe that you could get Simons on a cheaper deal. Because I don't love starting Tim Hardaway Jr. I would start him today if we had to, but I don't really want that. So I just think that Simons' kind of market might not be there, and with teams not really having a ton of cap space, there is a world that his number goes down closer to that $6.5, $7 million range where maybe Miami can strike.
I agree with you 100%. I feel like teams are just going to wait until his market goes down. There's not many teams in the NBA right now that are so like, we need a point guard badly, so they could just wait.
Right. Because think about this too. The way teams are built, you're not making Anfernee Simons a focal point of your team in many cases. So you're not offering him a lot of money. He's
correct.
Would be getting role player money. But what role can he actually play? Because he's only been someone in his career that has had the ball in his hands a lot in Portland. This last year was the first time he's ever had any opportunity to play not with the ball in his hands a ton. And I think it was a bad move, but the Celtics ultimately traded him halfway through the year. It just the reason why we're so excited and how much I want Anfernee Simons, because it's a rare case of his role in niche skill set isn't the most valued thing in the league anymore, except it's exactly what the Miami Heat need, which is why we've talked about it a ton.
We'll find out what happens. I would laugh if he signed right this second. We still got a super chat menu going on. We are 41 likes away from, since Rolly, you had the last Bean Boozled, I'll get the Bean Boozled out. $5, we do talk about your team, so if anybody sends in a $5 super chat, we will go over your team. $20, we do a Bean Boozled, and then a $50, shout out to Charmander, sending in the 100 on the Heat Report channel. $100 or $50 super chat, we do get into the beer bongs. But Amity coming in with the 5. What is your skin routine? You're mogging.
I know you're trolling. I have no skin routine, though, if you were actually asking. None. I don't apply any moisture.
I don't either.
I'm natural, baby.
I'm all natural.
We wake up every morning, put one foot on in front of the other, and we go to work.
Charmander with a 10.
Basketball. I don't like you anymore, Albert. Rolly, you going to let this slide? Listen, it's not up to me. If it was up to me, I wouldn't want Alpert to ever be seen on the Heat Report by Chat Sports. I wouldn't want that. But it's not. We're up here doing our NBA Now stream. That's the dynamic duo that you've been hit with. And my thing to my Heat fans out there, I know we probably don't want this guy on our streams, but would you rather have no stream or have a stream? That's my question to you.
Or would you rather have Smitty, the Celtics fan?
We've had Smitty on there.
Oh, jeez.
And I got Smitty in a Heat uniform.
Oh, yeah, that's
my
your profile picture.
My Twitter profile picture. It's me and Smitty both wearing. Well, I'm wearing my Heat sweatshirt. I got him to wear a pink Tyler Hero jersey after we beat the Bulls in the play-in 2023.
We got
24.
We got him on Knicks Now to wear a Knicks jersey.
He could be bought.
Oh yeah,
we
had him wear a number 8 J.R. Smith jersey from 2013.
All right, at least that's a fire jersey.
So yeah, it had Smith on the front. What are we doing?
Fun.
But shout out to everybody. We still got 700 people watching with us on a very kind of decent day of free agency, but all of the moves happened this morning, and we're still waiting on some moves to happen. Kelly Oubre signed 2 years, $17 million. But shout out to all of y'all on our way to 436,000 subscribers. We're 259 away. Maybe we can get to 800 by the end of this stream. So if you love what we're doing, we were live last week. We'll be live again tonight for the World Cup game, the U.S. Bosnia-Herzegovina game. So make sure you hit that sub button right now.
Coop and Sam breaking things down. Going to be a lot of fun. Before we get into this guy Major, he sent a $20 super chat yesterday for me to sing, I forget what it's called. God Bless America. Thank you, Ethan. He wants the Star Spangled Banner. I think we should toss to Alper. No more singing from me. Alper, for what level super chat would you sing the Star Spangled Banner?
I would do 100.
100. Wow. Major's not. No, Major ain't going there. Major ain't going there.
I don't like. I would mess up. I have to think in my head like.
You can look up the lyrics.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna make me do it from the top of my head.
No, the Keep fans don't want to see me sing again. They don't. One guy actually said, so I said $20 super chat, I'll sing it. A 20 came in, and then I started doing it, I messed up, so I restarted, and then someone sent a $20 super chat and said, this is for you not to sing the Star Spangled Banner.
I mean, I'll sing anything. Like, when I usually go out on a Thursday, that's when most karaoke's happen, and we get Apple karaoke sometimes at the bar. Swear to God. I've sang everything at the bar. I've sang Call Me Maybe. I've sang everything. We're still on LeBron watch. If you guys missed yesterday, LeBron announced that he will not be returning to the Lakers after spending the last 8 seasons with him since the 2018-19 season, and he's going to play somewhere else. Well, we don't know where he's going to play, but according to Dave McMenamin of ESPN, he told Rich Paul to go do his job. Go out and find teams that want me to play for them, and we'll talk to them. And then we found some teams that could possibly be interested. We know Cleveland. We know Miami. We know Golden State because of all the ties with Cleveland, going back to Miami, and his interest in playing with Steph Curry in Golden State. But one sleeper team is the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're showing interest, according to Sam Amick, and we see the Timberwolves are known to have interest if he felt like shocking the basketball world with that sort of move. I don't know how I'd feel with LeBron on the Timberwolves, but they also have a report that's saying from Chris Haynes that LeBron will be patient and open-minded in selecting his next destination, but the priority is having a realistic chance of competing for a championship. I think there was also another report that said he does not care about money. It's
Correct.
Just happiness.
So the way that it has been presented to the media is that he is willing to take any level of contract if the reasoning and pitch from that front office is deemed worthy. So, for example, the Warriors, if they wanted to bring him in for the vet min, if they gave him a good enough reasoning to sign for the vet min and like, hey, you coming for the vet min, this is what we're going to be doing, this is what our team is going to look like, then he's fine doing it. For Miami, he said he would sign for $6.5 million, but like basically in that biannual. So if Miami gave enough pitch, like, hey, listen, look at what we're building here. We're going to sign you for $6 million. We still got one more spot to use on our roster, and maybe we make a trade here or there. So like, it's just all about the pitch. But like, if these teams give LeBron a good reason to take $4 million or $2.5 million, then he will. And I understand why. Like, I've said this for a long time. He's 42 years old. He's the second or greatest player in the history of the sport. He's a billionaire. If this is his final year in the league, why do you care about how much money you make? You should only care about winning another title and being in the best possible spot for yourself. And he is basically taking my exact thought process before all of this came out and applying it to himself. So really, any landing spot is up in the air. I still would put money on Golden State. If I had to rank the hierarchy of potential landing spots, I would go Golden State 1, Miami 2, Cleveland 3. And I really don't think there is a fourth, but if you had to, there's been rumors about either Minnesota or Denver maybe being that team.
Harry yesterday kept trying to build in the narrative of San Antonio.
He wouldn't go there.
Instead of going for Rui, they go after LeBron, and I just don't think that they'd want him.
Yeah.
For me, I would agree with you. I would put Golden State at the top. It just seems like it would be the perfect fit for LeBron. I mean, granted, LeBron wants to go out and win a title, but for him to go to Golden State, he stays on the West Coast where his family's at. He gets to stay in California. And I think he has become fascinated with the option. Since playing that Olympics back in 2024, he has become fascinated with being able to play with Steph Curry. So I think that he sees that opportunity to have a little bit of fun while also, granted, I don't think that they would be a championship contending team in Golden State with how old they are. I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with the San Antonio Spurs or the Oklahoma City Thunder, but it would be really, really cool to see LeBron and Steph play for 1 year because I think this is his final year.
Let us know where you think he's going. I see a lot of people saying, I see someone saying the Knicks. I mean,
that's not happening.
I doubt it, but I guess you could never say never. Even as someone, obviously, who's a Heat guy, and I run the Heat's channel, and, maybe he does become the best option if you can't get Anfernee Simons to add your kind of, rotation as that creator and playmaker from the backcourt point of view. I do wonder if he's the best fit there, and I think just from an unbiased NBA fan, if you take away your fan base and just say, all right, from a league storyline basis, where would it be cool to see him go? Sure, there are a lot of cool storylines of returning to Miami or Cleveland because each team in their own right can contend in their conference. There isn't a better storyline out there than him and Steph teaming up for one last run as Curry's nearing the end of his career. So as a fan of the league, I hope he goes to Golden State. I do think, though, Miami would be better off getting him, even though I still prefer Anfernee Simons. If I had to choose one of the two for $6 million on 1 year, I would choose Simons. I really would. Not that he's a better player. I think he's just a better fit.
Yeah, I mean, I see Carl Knight in the chat saying Bron to the Knicks. It just, with the way the Knicks are assembled, it doesn't feel like he would be a solid fit for that team. I think you can't take the ball out of Brunson's hands, which if LeBron is going to go to whatever team, I think he becomes that point guard. I would not want him to become the point guard of the New York Knicks.
I don't know. We saw him play a lot more off the ball with the ball out of his hands this year during the regular season with Reeves and with Luka Doncic. Obviously in the playoffs, no Luka, so he went back into that on-the-ball dominant type of guy. But, man, I think it's interesting to see where he goes. But any location he goes to, the only true ball-in-your-hand spot would be Miami because he would borderline play point guard and facilitate.
I think he'd play point guard with the Warriors. I think Steph would become more of a two.
I know Steph plays off the ball, but, both guys would kind of do the same. Before we do this, Jack, can we get the super chat from Heat on screen? Because it's another banger. Yep. Oh! Charmander! Bang! Another super chat from my guy. You said you are down to do karaoke for 100.
Am I allowed to do Barbie Girl?
Oh, yeah, you're not. What do you mean? You just got to pull up the lyrics and let it ride. Just voice those lyrics, mister. For Alper being a good sport and hanging with us, I did bring in another. Can
I do the chorus?
Luckily, you can do. I think a chorus works, right?
Are we doing the Star Spangled Banner or Barbie Girl?
No, he wants Barbie Girl. He's got to tease you for you being a Knicks fan. Hold on, let me look at the lyrics here and see.
Hi, Barbie. Hi, Ken.
No, you're not doing that. I think it's the chorus.
It's the chorus?
One line chorus. So it's if you look it up lyrics, you start at I'm a Barbie girl, go through imagination, life is your creation, maybe one come on Barbie, let's go party, and then do the chorus again and you're good. I think that's kind of where it goes.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Well, I'm going to pour up another beer bong for Charmander.
I know. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
So should I sing it? No, I'll lead us off with a beer bong, and then we'll get an L.
So I'm starting from I'm a Barbie girl. All right. All right.
Here you go,
I'll do it as he's doing it. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. Life in plastic. It's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. Imagination. Life is your creation. Come on, Barbie. Let's go party. Oh, yeah. Come on, Barbie. Let's go party. Ooh, oh, ooh, oh. That's what you're getting.
Oh! That was pretty good. That was pretty good. You know, I give him credit. He was better than I was yesterday trying to sing. What was it again?
God bless America.
Because I wanted to, like, I think you're better musically than I am. Because I just am terrible of, like, without hearing the actual, like, background music per se. I'm terrible at remembering, like, the notes and the pitch and the way you say it.
Music theory.
He fans are laughing and having a good time with it. So
yeah, and then people here in the chat are like, "What the hell is going on, man?" Like, it's NBA free agency. We're just trying to have fun here. Thank you, Chris Lauderay. Appreciate that.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, we are an hour and 15 minutes in. We only got one signing. I think in about 20 minutes we're gonna react and do like a, basic video here. And then kind of loop it since nothing's been going on. But before we get into that, shout out your favorite team down in the comment section. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Alfred, you might have started something. I don't know if you can finish.
Oh, jeez. I can see it on your screen right now.
But before
we'll do this first.
Charmander, we're going to get to your super chat in a second. But on our main chat sports channel, shout out your favorite team for me. Spam it down in the comment section. And we're going to give it a minute. And then after a minute, we're going to pick the first comment we see. And we'll talk about your team, what they've done in free agency, what they haven't done, what they could do. So spam your favorite team.
Down. Spam it down below. I want to see everybody. I'll count down from 10. We're also 8 likes away from 200. And that means I get to do a Bean Boozled. So everybody keep spamming down below. I'm counting from 10 right now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. Carl Knight was the first one I saw.
All right.
And it was the Knicks.
It's the Knicks.
It was the Knicks. I promise I wasn't being biased. It was the first one I saw.
Let's talk about what they've done in free agency or lack thereof. They did re-sign Jose Alvarado and Landry Shamet right before free agency opened. Alvarado, I think, was on the weekend or maybe the Friday. Yeah. Shamet was legitimately on Monday, so 24 hours before free agency began. But they lost today their 2 backup big men in Ariel Hukporti and Mitchell Robinson, so they currently have no backup centers on their roster.
They have absolutely no one. It's not like, they could find a player that could be backup. No, right now, the backup technically center, I guess you could call it Josh Hart. You would have to play him at the center position because not only that, Jeremy Sohan, who was a part of this team last season, who won the title with them, was playing center after Cat, after Mitchell Robinson, after Ariel Hukporti, as your last resort. Right now, they still have their absolute core together. They re-signed Landry Shamet for an amazing $24 million contract, $6 million a year, where you see guys that are getting absolutely way more money. I mean, Harrison Barnes, for a guy that is not even having a rotation on the Spurs roster, got $8 million. Everything is there. Your starting 5's still there. But right now, you do not have a backup center after losing Mitchell Robinson and Ariel Hukporti. And I just don't understand getting rid of Hukporti. I mean, you have to pay somebody, and you have, I think, $11 million into the second apron. You could afford someone. You're going to have to go out and sign an Andre Drummond, a Nick Richards, or Jaxson Hayes on the vet min to make something possible, because right now they have to, I think, sign 2 more players to get to that NBA limit.
Would you have wanted and would you have been okay with Hachimura being your backup center?
I wouldn't have been happy with it, but like I liked Hachimura. I thought he had potential. There were some times where he came in. There was one game in the NBA Finals. He came in, I think it was Game 5. And he came in and played a productive 10 to 12 minutes that entire game where it looked like, okay, we can have him as our backup. But now you don't have any. I thought for sure instead of trading the pick away, going and getting a center in the NBA draft, which would have easily been the best option for the Knicks.
All right. So enough with the Knicks talk here. We kind of talked about what they've done. We'll see what they do here. Do we want to get to the Super Chat and then we'll do this again? Let's get to the Super Chat. And I'll say this before we get it on screen. Alper, if you oblige, I'm going to do another beer bong. So I'm just drinking, and you're singing potentially Cotton Eye Joe here. Charmander, as much as we love the donations, and it's very appreciative, like you don't understand how much it helps us here at the Heat Report, I am going to cut it off after this.
Okay.
There will be no more singing. As much as I like teasing Alper here, and it's fun, I think we are going to cut it off here from the singing perspective because, yeah. But, so we're going to have him. Yeah. Well, no, you can sing it. You just can't play the actual song. No, that's one time that was a mistake by YouTube. Yes. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I've done karaoke on Patriots.
You just can't.
I've done it on
Knicks.
Knicks.
That he played the song and sung along with it. If I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm wrong.
Do I gotta like do the little dance with it too?
All right, so I'm gonna do a beer bong. He's gonna do Cotton Eye Joe.
I gotta remember the lyrics of this song.
You can super chat if you want to bring up other things, but we're just no longer singing.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember the cadence of it because it's been a while since I've listened to this song. Like Barbie Girl, I just know it by heart.
You know that by heart?
I've listened to a lot of bubblegum pop music in my day.
Interesting.
Like,
wouldn't have guessed you knew the Barbie song by heart. It's me though. Wouldn't have guessed it.
I listen to a lot of music. All right, I'm gonna try to get this.
You've been a legend.
If it hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe, I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? If I hadn't been a Cotton Eye Joe, I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? That's the whole entire chorus.
I tell you what, that was pretty good. I really think that was way better than I anticipated. That was actually impressive. Bar, I say I'm impressed.
I will do every time I'm at a bar, like when it's not packed, I will do karaoke. The last time I sang some Matchbox 20 song. I can't remember.
Is it? That's their best song ever. I forgot.
What did I sing? I think I sang 3 a.m.
Oh, that's not the one I was thinking of.
Or I sang Unwell. I think I sang Unwell.
What's the one, End of the World? What's the name of that one?
I know what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They're actually coming to Choctaw.
Or I've sang Real World too.
August 15th.
August 15th?
Choctaw.
I've never been to that casino. I've only been to WinStar.
I guess 3 a.m. is their most popular one. How far we've come. That was the one I was talking
about. Oh, yeah. Let's see how far we've
that's
come.
My favorite song.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite song from them. All right. We're going to do this again.
Now you count down.
Shout out your favorite team for me down in the comment section. After a minute, we're going to pick a team to talk about.
I see it. Keep spamming it down below. Are you counting down or am I counting down, Rolly?
I'll do it.
All right. Keep spamming it down below. Everybody's favorite team in the comments section.
I'm going to give it a minute, though. Keep on spamming your favorite teams. So keep on getting it in there. Shout to our guy, Dibble.
I see Dibble in there.
Legendary stuff. All right, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. First I saw was the Timberwolves from Joseph Tana, if I said that correctly. So, let's talk some Timberwolves basketball, because the big move they've made this offseason hasn't been in free agency, but it's been trading for LaMelo Ball. So, let's go through a timeline of the Timberwolves offseason. The day before the draft, actually an hour before the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade, they traded Julius Randle to the Brooklyn Nets. They also moved back from the 28th pick to the 33rd pick, and they move off Randle's contract. They take on Muhammadu Gay, who was just there, so took on something to consummate a 3-team trade. They did that in order to re-sign and extend Ayo Dosunmu before he entered NBA free agency. So they bring him back on $20+ million, 5 for 112. And then 3 days later, right after, I think, the second day of the draft, or before, however you want to say it, I think it was actually the morning of day 2 of the draft, second day, they trade Naz Reid and 1 first plus 3 swaps for LaMelo Ball and Josh Green. So now you add LaMelo into that backcourt, that they have him, and you bring Dosunmu as your 6th man, I suppose. You still have McDaniels. You still have Rudy Gobert. Who starts at the 4? Not sure. Maybe I'm missing someone, but we'll see there. Because I doubt they go with Ant, LaMelo, and Dosunmu all in the same starting lineup.
Would you start Terrence Shannon?
But that's like same thing with Dosunmu, though, almost. Shannon,
yeah.
So I just don't feel like they're going to start LaMelo and another one of their guards, whether it be LaMelo or Dosunmu. So I don't know who starts the 4, but that's where the rumors of LeBron come in, because they've been linked as a team that outside of the most likely 3, Miami, Cleveland, Golden State, well, that they have some interest in reaching out. Yeah. I mean, there was, I think Rich Paul said, or someone else, that like there's been 12 teams to call him and reach out about LeBron. Minnesota absolutely is one of them. One of them also is Denver. That just was reported by the Denver Post. So Denver's a team in there. So there's been many different teams to reach out for LeBron. Minnesota's certainly one of them. If they make a good enough pitch to LeBron to join them on the vet min, maybe they do land LeBron. And now you have a lineup of LaMelo, Ant, McDaniels, Gobert, and LeBron. Is it likely? No, I'd still place my money on one of Cleveland, Miami, Golden State. But I don't know what else they would really do in free agency other than make a swing like that on LeBron.
Could they afford Rory?
No, I think even though they saved the money,
yeah,
they did that to side Dosunmu. So, I don't really see them. I don't think they have any flexibility.
Because, I mean, I do like their core of their first 7 players. But after that, I mean, you talked about it, they really don't have someone to play, or they need another wing. Because Terrence Shannon Jr., I would consider kind of your 2-3 type of player, and he's on the come up. I mean, last year he came out of nowhere. I'm pretty sure it was when Ant went down with that knee injury. You drafted Isaiah Evans, who is also a point guard, so you don't need to worry about anything on that sense. But after Jaden McDaniels, they don't really have anybody.
Yeah, so they've got some moves. Let me look at their cap table just to double check on these thoughts. Why don't
they have Bellinger.
Why don't I check on the cap table? You guys do the prize picks, and then we can rehash this conversation on Minnesota when we come back.
They have their first-round pick in Joan Bellinger, but is he going to be that type of player? I mean, he's playing I'm looking at the rotation right now. He's playing 5 minutes a game. That's really not what you can really have there. But while Rolly's looking at this, guys, we're going to tell you about our sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. We use Prize Picks here at Chat Sports almost every single day. It's the best place to win cash while watching sports. And you guys even though basketball's over, you guys can still make player lineups. You can also make team picks on Prize Picks. Every single sport you could possibly think of. You can predict where LeBron is going to next. but you also have the lineups, your normal daily fantasy lineups on Prize Picks. Shout out to Rolly for this lineup. He had the Harry Kane goals, the more. He had 2 of them, Harry Kane. And then I think that is Christian Pulisic, the more on goals or assists at 0.5. But there's also a max discount for Christian Pulisic at all he needs is just more than 1 pass attempted. And also on the 4th of July, hot dog eating contest. Joey Chestnut only needs 1 more than half a hot dog. And Joey Chestnut's eating 70 of them things. I think that this is going to be good. So you can add those to your lineups. All you got to do is just pick more or less on a few player stats, lock in your lineup. There's a new user offer for you guys. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code HMA to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. The link will be in the comments and description of this live stream. You could also get in the live chat. That's code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right.
All right, Jay, you can welcome me back on here because
I think Rolly's found it out. It's just me there, but also hit that sub button.
After doing a little bit more info, so where the Timberwolves stand right now, what'd you say? Oh, I thought you said I haven't. The Timberwolves have 11 players on their roster. Ant, LaMelo, Gobert, McDaniels, Ayu, Josh Green, DiVincenzo, Berenger, Jalen Clark, Shannon Jr., and Highland. So they got to fill out 3 spots. Problem is, they're already past the first apron. They're $4 million over the first apron. And they have $7.7 million until they get to the second apron. So they're allowed to use the taxpayer mid-level, which is $6 million max. But with 3 roster spots open, and they have to fill to get to the minimum 14, you do the math here for, what's 3 times 2.5? Oh, it is 7.5.
7? Yeah.
Which is right about, they have 7.7 in space. So what you can expect, in my opinion, is for Minnesota to make 3 vet min signings to fill out the end of the roster. Now, they could hypothetically move on and expand that LaMelo Ball trade to move Josh Green to a 3rd team if they so choose to. And maybe they're capable of shedding some salary to open up some space for them.
Could you find a player or find a team
or DiVincenzo at $12 million?
Could you find a team to take on DiVincenzo's contract and maybe give him an extension to be able to get off that contract?
Well, the issue is that DiVincenzo's not going to play this year, so I just don't see many teams being in on that since he tore his Achilles in the postseason.
That's why I'm like, maybe he signs that contract extension if you trade him, but like you said, many teams aren't going to want to do that, especially coming off.
If you're able to dump one of Green or DiVincenzo, that gives you a lot more flexibility here, so you can actually have some breathing room and not just have vetmin signings up until the second apron. But right now, where things are heading, it looks like it's going to be 3 vetmin signings for Minnesota to fill out that roster. Maybe one of them is LeBron, like you said he would take it if you give him the right pitch. But is that pitch going to be good enough from Minnesota? I just don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Don't think so there. We got a super chat on. So we got to get that on screen because it is as big as you think.
No way.
Yeah, but I told him we're cutting off, so I'm sorry. But Charmander! Bang! My guy. So you're saying no sing, but talk lucid dreams. Listen, that's a long song. And Charmander, you have been unbelievable.
Charmander.
But I did say we're not doing. I know you're gonna say this is talking, not saying it. We're not doing anything song. So what I will offer you, because we're gonna be going back to our regular scheduled programming here, and I don't want to try to slight you or anything. But how about me and Elper do another beer? We do a beer bong maze.
That's fine with me.
We each do a beer bong. We set our price for beer bongs for 50, so we're getting 2 out of your 100. We're just not really doing any more of the song stuff. It was fun for a couple minutes there, but I don't think the rest of our general audience wants to see that.
I don't think they.
So Elper or Ethan, do you want to go grab
another Murbonga?
Grab 2 Happy Dads and then grab a Murbonga for Elper.
Talk lucid dreams. I listened to that song yesterday, by the way.
Really?
Yes, I am Juice WRLD or Uzi is my number 1 on Spotify every single year.
Uzi's in my top 5.
It's Uzi and Juice WRLD.
Rappers.
Top 2.
Yeah, let me do that. But Elper, we'll get back to the super chat here on screen. But
shout out to Charmander.
Tell the people why I should subscribe.
Well, I mean, for all the fun stuff that we do here at Chat Sports, like karaoke, but we're giving you guys the content that you deserve. We are covering Day 2 of NBA free agency, and not many others are covering NBA free agency. Right now on ESPN, they're showing Wimbledon. You're not getting the same type of content. You're not getting the same type of analysis that you are getting here. So go ahead and hit that sub button. We might be live tomorrow, not 100% sure, but we'll also be live tonight for the USA Bosnia World Cup game. We are live for all of the NBA draft stuff last week. We're going to be live during the NFL season, so you're not going to want to miss out on a single thing, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and hit that sub button right now. We're on our way to 436,000 subscribers.
I thought you said Ponzi did the post-prod for this. Is it in a separate doc? Because the copy underneath where I'm putting in this 2026 free agency it's all 2025 stuff. All right, well, why don't we just have Ethan do that since he's in here and while we film that? Who do you think the losers are, though, Alper?
The Knicks.
You want to put the Knicks on there?
I think they're definitely a loser. I mean, granted, you did re-sign 2 great players in Jose Alvarado and Landry Shamet, but you have no center. And Mitchell Robinson was a huge pivotal part of this championship team.
Are we putting the Lakers on there as a loser? I know we thought about it, but I don't know if we even have enough winners.
I don't think we have enough winners.
So I think I'm switching because I can make the argument that they're a winner. No, we're going to actually make real teams. But I'm going to switch the Lakers to winners. Because even though I don't like the salary and I don't like the trade, they did get better in my opinion.
I mean, let's go through can we go through the free agent signings, Mr. Jack?
Yeah, this would actually be helpful before we get into it.
Yeah, recap them so we can look at which team signed which.
Yeah, let's just start with today. Let's just start with today. Because we can start here.
Yeah. I do like this. Zach Collins to the I would say the Bulls are a winner.
For getting Norman Powell?
Zach Collins is a re-sign, but I just like it. It's so hard. Would you say the Rockets getting Bogdan and Marcus Smart?
I could put the Bulls on there because they did get Nick Claxton, so we can factor in that trade, kind of for the reasoning.
The Sixers.
I wouldn't put the Rockets as winners.
The Sixers got Huck Porty and Dean Wade, but
I don't think that's enough.
That's not a needle mover
because they lost Grimes and what's it called?
And Oubre.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on putting the Celtics on the winners? I don't love Conley, but obviously they got Mitchell Robinson.
I really like that.
They're on the teeter list.
Yeah.
And then the Magic. Can I label the Magic as losers?
I don't like the Vucevic signing at all.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Isaac was a guy that. Thank you, sir.
I'm putting the Orlando Magic on the losers list.
Galaxy Hoop says, does anybody know how much cap space the Lakers have? Not much anymore.
I saw that they can create $7 more million in space if they waive and stretch Jared Vanderbilt. So maybe they go out.
Do they want to do that? Is my question.
Yeah, I don't know. But I do think they spent all of their money, so they could create a little bit more if they do what I just said. But okay, so that's all. Wow. All right. I thought we had more.
You want to put the Heat on there?
Low key, the Nets. Keon Ellis, Mo Wagner. I don't know. I don't really love that. It did, but it's not. They didn't make any signings.
Like, it's not free agency. That's a trade.
No, it didn't. It happened before. Doesn't count.
Precious Achua to the Kings.
You know what? I am putting the Heat on there because Tim Hardaway is a good sign.
It's a nice 3-and-D shooting.
Yeah,
shooter.
They needed it, and they still have space to make some other moves. Low key, I kind of want to put the Suns on there. I love that Luke Kennard.
Luke Kennard was such a when the Lakers lost Luke Kennard and you're replacing Luke Kennard with Quentin Grimes. I mean, you're paying him more. I think that's a downgrade.
I think the Suns are a sneaky team. Like, listen to this starting lineup, Alper. You've got Devin Booker.
Yep.
You've got Dylan Brooks. You've got Jalen Green, you've got Miles Bridges, Mark Williams. And then now coming off the bench, you add in Colin Gillespie, you re-sign Jordan Goodwin, who you re-signed, Luke Kennard, who you signed for ANC. Now I'm maybe spacing on the back end of their bench. They got Kaman Malawach, 10th overall pick from last year. I mean, that team's got some intrigue to it.
Drafted they traded for Pete.
They can absolutely be in that vein of between the 6 and 3 seed next year.
They could compete. Yeah, I like what they're doing. I can't believe. I think Luke Kennard's a better player than Quentin Grimes. That's just me.
All right, loser. We're going to go final loser.
Who do we have so far?
3 winners, Lakers, Bulls, Heat. You know what? I'm taking off the Bulls.
Okay.
And I'm putting the Suns on.
Yeah, I think the Suns are bigger winners.
Because even though they just signed Luke Kennard, I love that signing. No, because I can't get it to – I'm barely struggling to find a third loser. I mean, I really don't think there's that many losers out there.
I'm looking right now. What about the Hawks?
We can do a reveal. Hawks, no. Can I put the Sixers? Yeah, they got Dean Wade, but they lost Grimes and they lost Oubre.
And Dean
Subject
Wade
to change.
And Dean Wade isn't as big of a scorer as Oubre or Grimes. There were points in the season where Kelly Oubre could give you 20 on any given night. I mean, Quentin Grimes scored 45 a couple of times for the 76ers. Is Dean Wade going and dropping more than 15 for you? Even on a random Tuesday night in February?
I put the Sixers on there because, I mean, that's subject to change because they can get Rui Hachimura and they become winners real quick.
Exactly. But as of right now,
yeah, we're doing that. So
I like that.
We're doing that
because Dean Wade is a downgrade from Oubre and.
Oh, would you prefer watermelon or lemon lime?
What do you prefer? I don't care.
I don't care.
Lemon lime.
Those are my 2 favorite flavors. So.
Oh, this is freezing.
We can go through the tracker starting with, because we didn't do tracker yesterday, so start with the Tim Hardaway. We'll start here, because that's actually technically, I know it's a re-signing, but that happened exactly at 5 p.m. on. So start with this. We'll go through the entire tracker, and then we'll go reveals through the 3 winners, and we'll go individually at what they've done, what they've lost, and then, yeah, let's do that, because we'll probably speed run through the tracker more than we probably originally thought we would.
Not a lot.
Yeah. So, hold on, let me pour this up, and then we'll do our beer bong race. Shout out to my guy Charmander.
This is freezing cold.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. All right, to Charmander!
Charmander! Holy hell, that was freezing.
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. Wow. All right. That was something. Whoa. Did I have 3 beer bongs on my bingo card today?
Absolutely
no, I
not.
didn't see that one coming. People were saying in the Heat chat we wanted a song. Yeah, understandable. And we love the support over there on the Heat Report. But I said after Con I Joe, we're not doing any more songs. So I don't know what you want me to tell you. Listen, I love you guys. We can't do this stream without you guys' love and support, and make these content so consistently. But this is my channel at the end of the day. And I said
I'm the captain now.
And as I hope Charmander doesn't take offense to this, but listen. If I just roll over every time I say something and then someone sends a super chat and then I roll over on it, then I'm just setting a precedent that I'm going to get run over. And boy, that's not going to happen.
That can't happen.
That can't happen. 1, and 2, I'm just not that person. And if you guys are new subscribers, just don't worry. I don't roll over to the viewer. I will jaw back.
So do I. People don't like that.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get it.
I can handle the prize picks, Reed, because I know you've done the last couple.
Sounds good to me. I mean, is this being an actual cut, or is this
Yeah,
just
no,
being
we're doing an actual video. No, we
Okay.
do the whole entire winners and losers thing. Correct. Yeah, when we actually start looping it, that'll be the end of the stream.
I'm confused.
Yeah, so like react to like a thing, and like at the end you can go full screen. I'll do like a sub read or something, and that's where the loop cut ends. Yeah. End the loop, and then we'll do like a brief explanation of what's going to happen.
It is Johnson, you.
Okay.
So when is the loop cut starting, and when was the actual cut starting? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I just won't. Yeah, and then we did a little Q&A. Okay. Okay.
All right. Let's do it. All right, we're going to film a video here reacting and going through all of the signings that have happened since 6 p.m. Eastern time yesterday. And then we are going to give 3 winners and 3 losers. So stay subscribed. After that, we'll like quickly, briefly hang out for like a minute or two. And then we're going to replay it as a loop. And if nothing happens while that is happening, we will be signing off after what will end up being probably a 2.5-hour stream today, since there's only been 1 signing since we went live, which is truly unbelievable. Which is the other one? Jameer Watkins does not count. It does not count. That's a 2-way contract.
The Florida State guy.
All right.
Let's get into it.
We got a couple $2 super chats. We'll get to that after we film this, so we'll get to that. All right, but when you're ready, Jack. We are nearly 24 hours into NBA free agency, and even though it started off really, really slow, it picked up on day 2 with a flurry of signings and a big-time trade. We're going to react to it all and give 3 winners and 3 losers after the first 24 hours of free agency. I'm Nick Roloff. Here is Brett Alper. We'll be breaking it down on this edition of NBA Now, presented by Prize Picks. There's been a lot of moves out there, and before we get into them, let me know who is the best free agent still out there, not named LeBron James. I would probably have to say it's Jalen Duren, but you let me know down in the comments section.
I think we both kind of agree, Rolly, that, with Duren being the restricted free agent, as the Detroit Pistons have said that they're going to match whatever, I would go with a Rui Hachimura.
So let's go with how things started off yesterday. Couple re-signings, not notable. Notable, Tim Hardaway Jr. joining Giannis and Bam Adebayo in Miami. He was the first player to switch a team in free agency. Signing 1 year, $6.5 million. Shot 40% from 3 last year. 3rd and 6th man of the year voting. Good pick up there for Miami. And then we had a little bit of another dry spell, but then we get a couple big ones. Keon Ellis heading from Cleveland to Brooklyn for 2 years, $18 million. Then a real surprising one, which we'll talk about more in a bit, but Luke Kennard, 2 years, $13 million is a hell of a deal.
I love that deal. I mean, for what you're getting with the type of player, the Lakers went out and acquired him, and when he was with LA, it felt like he was their true 3-and-D type player. He was lights out from 3 last season, and Lakers are losing a good one. Suns are gaining a good one.
And moving on here, Zach Collins re-signs with the Bulls. Dean Wade moves from Cleveland to Philadelphia, singing a 4-year, $39 million deal. And then a pair of bookend signings to end the night on Monday, or Tuesday, I should say, and start the signings on Wednesday. Bogdan Bogdanović to Houston, Marcus Smart to Houston. And that kind of opened the floodgates here, because John Collins, which will end up being a sign and trade, don't know what the trade's going to be, 3 years, $51 million, heading from Los Angeles, the Clippers, to the Detroit Pistons. The All-Star, Norman Powell, leaving Miami to sign a 2-year, $45 million deal in Chicago. First year of that contract guaranteed, second year not. It's a team option. The Knicks lose a third-string big in Ariel Hawkporty. He heads to Philadelphia, where he'll likely battle with Adem Bono to be the backup for Joel Embiid.
Yeah, it's kind of like I was okay with the Knicks losing Huck Porty at first, but which we'll talk about in a little bit with Mitchell Robinson also being a free agent and going somewhere else. Right now, the Knicks don't have a backup center, but for Ariel Huck Porty to go to the 76ers, I don't really like Gabe Bona for what he did. He kind of played no defense for Huck Porty. He kind of gives them a more aggressive type of fit for that team. And then not much going on after that. Nikola Vucevic going back to Orlando where he was many years ago. Mike Conley, a low-end deal for the Boston Celtics to be their backup point guard. And then also Brooklyn Nets. They're kind of getting a lot of players in this offseason. Mo Wagner, 2 years, $19 million, and Javon Carter, 1 year, $3.5 to the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, cool story there with Nikola Vucevic. But then we get the impactful moves here in the early afternoon, late morning. Mitchell Robinson signing the full non-taxpayer mid-level, leaving New York after winning a title to maybe become the starting center. Him and Neemias Queta will battle out for that starting spot in Boston. But then the Lakers.
The big one.
They trade 2 first-rounders unprotected to get Walker Kessler. They signed Sanju Mamu. They signed Quentin Grimes, and they signed Collin Sexton. They make 4 major moves in the span of 30 minutes.
It was crazy.
And they really bolster up that roster. The Lakers, we'll focus on them here more in depth in a second. But to round out the action thus far, Kelly Oubre Jr. signed with the Pacers on a 2-year, $17 million fully guaranteed deal. Really good pickup for Indiana
really
as they look to rebound from last year. Oubre will be one of their lead guys off the bench. Athletic rebounder who's improved as a shooter, can defend a bit. Not a bad pickup for Indiana whatsoever. Get to winners and losers here in just 1 second. But today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code HMA. Get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. World Cup action on the daily. We got the United States taking on Bosnia tonight in the round of 32. We got more action tomorrow. They got daily discounts for the World Cup. They've got max discounts they offer. If you're watching this on Wednesday, take advantage of the Kristen Pulisic passes attempted max discount. I had a lineup in coming into today. More on Harry Kane goals. He had 2. So I head to the night with Pulisic, more on half a goal and assist. If he can make one of those 2 happen, boom, we can really have something go our way. There's also a max discount for Saturday. How about Joey Chestnuts? Take advantage. More on half a hot dog. I'll tell you what, he's probably going to be in the 70s, maybe the 80s. So get your lineups in. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code HMA to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. That is code HMA to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Appreciate Prize Picks for sponsoring today's stream.
Bro, we got a signing
we
while
got a
we're
signing
doing this.
Live here as it's happening. It's fine. Just get an L3 on there, Jack. Tobias Harris has, as we're filming this, signed a 2-year, $31 million deal with the San Antonio Spurs. Quick thoughts. He was our 3rd best free agent available at this point in the filming. And I like this move for San Antonio. I would have preferred the target Rui Hachimura. Maybe it was a bit more expensive. We knew that the Spurs were looking to upgrade that starting 4 spot, connecting Wembanyama to the backcourt of Vassell, Harper, and Castle. So now they get that potentially in Tobias Harris.
And I like Tobias Harris. You're not asking him to be what kind of Detroit did, to be the number 2 or number 3 guy. Tobias Harris is going to be plopped in as that number 4 player behind Wemby, behind Stephon Castle, behind Dylan Harper, and even possibly De'Aaron Fox. I really like this signing. He provides that 3-and-D and also just that veteran presence that kind of they were lacking. I know they had Harrison Barnes, but he really wasn't a rotational player. They get that veteran presence in Tobias Harris. And cheap deal, only $15.5 million.
I know for the people watching this video, you were not with us on our live show, but if you were, I did say I would bet my life on one of Rui Hachimura of Tobias Harris heading to San Antonio, and it will be Tobias. I would have preferred, if I was a Spurs fan, which I'm not, Rui, but Harris is a very solid option. I mentioned it. I don't think he could be a top 3 guy on your team. Luckily, he's not going to be. He's going to be your 5th guy in all likelihood. So let's get into some winners here. We kind of disagree on this to a degree. We ended up putting the Los Angeles Lakers on our winner list. They're losing LeBron in free agency. We'll see what happens with Rui Hachimura after not heading to San Antonio. But they re-signed Austin Reeves. DeAndre Ayton opts into his $8.1 million player option. They made the big move of trading for Walker Kessler. We both agree it's an overpay in both the trade and the contract, but I like adding Sandro Mamu. I like adding Collin Sexton. I'm wishy-washy on Grimes, but I do truly believe here, Alper, that they are better now after making these moves than they were last year. I get losing Kennard and Smart and LeBron and potentially Rui is tough, but these are the guys they needed to add to complement Reeves and Luka the most.
It's just going to depend to me on how good of defending are they going to have. I mean, right now, the question is, are you going to have Jake LaRavia start, or are you going to have Quentin Grimes? Offensively, they're going to be one of the most threatening teams. I mean, Sandro, he scored 30 against the Knicks. He is a very, very efficient player. I like Sandro Mamukelashvili coming off the bench. Is he going to be able to be that guy to play 25 minutes, 30 minutes a game? Luka, Reeves, Kessler is a good defender. But when your backcourt, are they going to be able to defend is my question when you sign Collin Sexton, who doesn't play defense. You have Luka, who doesn't play that great of a defense, even though he got better in recent years. Austin Reeves, Jake LaRavia, I just don't think is a very good NBA player. And you also have Cameron Carr coming off the bench as a rookie.
Maybe they know something I don't, but I would have preferred trying to do that same exact deal / sign and trade for Jalen Duren if that was a possibility.
Yes.
I know Duren was put on fraud watch, but I think he is without a question a better player than Walker Kessler. Do like the rim protection fit there, but the rim running and lob threat would have preferred Duren to fit with Reeves and Luka. The second winner, we labeled the Phoenix Suns, and although they haven't done much, I think they've done a lot of nice things. We mentioned Luke Kennard earlier on in the video. $6.5 million per year for him, I think, is an absolute steal. Yes, you ended up trading Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal. That has nothing to really do with free agency, but you were able to acquire Miles Bridges. You re-signed Mark Williams, extended him, Jordan Goodwin, Colin Gillespie. You picked up Bouyer's option, bring in Luke Kennard. And now I'm looking at the Suns team, which has a starting lineup potentially of Booker, Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, Miles Bridges, Mark Williams, with Luke Kennard coming off the bench. You have guys like Gillespie, Goodwin, Kaman Malowich, the 10th overall pick from the 2025 draft, and high upside big man there. Like, I'm not saying they're going to compete with OKC and San Antonio, but after the top two in the West, 3 through 10 is up for grabs. And I think Phoenix, building on the surprise year they had last season, getting Kennard, getting Miles Bridges, I think they're going to be much better than they were last year.
I think they have been probably one of the most improved teams in a sense of who they've gotten, who they've traded for, to how they were last year. I love this Luke Kennard signing for how he was with the Lakers last year, an absolute sniper. Look, you lose Grayson Allen, who has turned into a very good NBA player, but Dylan Brooks has kind of solidified himself as the perfect role for this Phoenix Suns team. You still have Devin Booker. Jalen Green is on the rise, and I like Mark Williams as a defender. Miles Bridges, he's always been solid, kind of a iffy kind of players. You saw him in Charlotte, but I do like this team a lot to compete for a play-in spot, and way better than they were last year.
Yeah, final winner here on our list. We went between Miami, Chicago, Boston as that potential final third team, but we are going to put Miami on there. And it's really not for the reasons you think, because we're trying to keep this as free agency winners, not so much of the overall offseason, obviously acquiring Giannis Antetokounmpo. But since Monday afternoon, they did extend Andrew Wiggins, they brought back Simone Fontecchio, and they bring in Tim Hardaway Jr. And yeah, you might scoff at Tim Hardaway Jr. as their lone guy they've added so far, but this guy shot 40% from 3 last year in Denver, was 3rd and 6th man of the year voting, only behind Jaime Jaquez Jr. and a guy like Keldon Johnson, who won the award. This is the exact player that the Heat needed in that 2-guard kind of spot. Now, does he start? I don't know. We'll see what they have up their sleeve the rest of the offseason. But he's a guy that you can play in the 2, have work off dribble handoffs, off the catch. He's one of the best movement shooters in the NBA. He's actually, fun fact, Alper, I don't know if you knew this, 19th in NBA history in three-pointers made.
Really?
It's a skill set that Miami needed. They get it for a relatively fine contract. They still have $9 million to spend in free agency on 2 roster spots. Maybe it's LeBron, maybe it's somewhere else, but I do think Miami is building in the right way.
I think they're the one team that had a perfect opportunity to sign their fit in free agency. And for like the Lakers, who I think they did their whole entire free agency in 30 minutes. They're not going to make another move unless it's a guy that's going to be at the tail end of their bench. The Heat still have the opportunity to go and sign a guy like an Anfernee Simons or bring in LeBron James. They have still the cap space and still have the moves to be able to be made while also improving their team at the same time. I like Simone Fontecchio. Andrew Wiggins is going to be clearly their third guy, and Tim Hardaway Jr., I mean, as a Knicks fan, he's played for the Knicks multiple times. I like what he did in Denver. I think that is a big loss for them and an adding piece to Miami Heat as they look to contend for a title with Bam and also Giannis.
So, a lot of people making moves. Who is the biggest winner in NBA free agency so far? I'll tell you what, the one who's made the biggest noise is the Lakers. Are they the biggest winner, though? Get down in the comment section and let me know. We'll transition over to free agency losers. New York, the Knicks are the first team on the list. You were very adamant that the Knicks should be put on this loser list, so I'll let you kind of take the reins here.
It's kind of in a sense of they still have their entire core. You have your starting 5, but when you look at what this Knicks team was last season as the NBA champions, Mitchell Robinson played an absolute pivotal role. He kind of took over games, not in a scoring sense, but defensively. You look at the last game of the season when they won the championship, Mitchell Robinson got the offensive rebound to save the game and win. Now you also lose Ziaire Williams. You don't have a backup center. This is a huge loss, and I still think the Knicks are going to be favorites in the Eastern Conference, but Mitchell Robinson was a huge piece to this puzzle and one of the big reasons why they won the championship. And I don't know if they would have won the title without Mitchell Robinson. And now you're worried about who you're going to be able to sign. It's Nick Richards, Andre Drummond, or a Jaxson Hayes type of player.
Next up on the loser list, we're going to put the Orlando Magic. And maybe it's wishy-washy. There hasn't been too many abysmal moves to this point, so we are nitpicking here. But what did they do today? Well, they brought back Javon Carter, and they signed Nikola Vucevic. They also brought back Jonathan Isaac after waiving him. But the reason why they're on the loser list is because Mo Wagner heads from Orlando to Brooklyn. I understand if you didn't want to pay him 2 years, $19 million, because I do think that is a bit of an overpay for Wagner in its own right. But if you are seriously going to play Vucevic 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes a night as your backup big man, I think that spells disaster in Orlando. He was unplayable down the stretch for Boston after they inexplicably traded Anfernee Simons for him at the deadline. I am just really out on Vucevic at this stage in his career. It's a cool story that he returns to Orlando, and yeah, he's backing up Wendell Carter Jr., but this guy is going to be played off the court if they make it to the postseason next year.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Right now, you're losing Mo, who was a nice backup spot for them behind Wendell Carter, and you're bringing back Vucevic, who has gotten older. It just feels like they need to go and make a better signing, because right now, none of these guys are going to move the needle for them, who kind of almost got over that hump of beating Detroit, but Paolo Banchero's a little inconsistent. I love Franz Wagner, but for the guys that they've signed, Vucevic, Carter, and Jamal Cain, nothing really impresses me with what the Magic did.
Final loser on today's show, and at this point, and it is the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, this is in the moment. And I do want to make this clear. Things can change very quickly based on what teams do. Yeah, they bring in Ariel Hukporty. They bring in Dean Wade. They picked up the team options on Dominic Barlow and Dalen Terry. I think Dean Wade's a fine player. I don't think he's anything special. And them losing both Quentin Grimes and Kelly Oubre Jr. as he goes to LA and Indiana respectively, I don't think could be underplayed. Now, I have said I think the 76ers should pursue Rui Hachimura, as he would be a perfect fit in that lineup with Embiid, Paul George, Edgecombe, and Maxey. But if you do not make a play for a guy on Rui, I think Philadelphia, on paper, barring upgrades from themselves internally, like a VJ Edgecombe step up, have gotten worse on paper, losing Grimes and ultimately Kelly Oubre Jr.
I mean, Grimes and Oubre were two pivotal points of their offense. We saw, it wasn't last year as Quentin Grimes kind of had a bit of a down year, but we watched Kelly Oubre Jr. score 14, 15 points per game. When Maxey was out 2 years ago or a season and a half ago, he was scoring 40 points a game. You are not getting that out of Dean Wade, Dalen Terry, and Dominic Barlow was the main defensive guy. Now Ariel Porty is going to compete with Adam Bona. It's just like they lost a lot. But like you said, Rolly, and we both kind of agree with this, if they can go and bring Rui Hachimura in, I think that automatically goes them from the losers to the winners.
I would put them on the winner list, because then if you look at what they've done and you're like, all right, we brought in Rui, we brought in Okporty, and we brought in Dean Wade. All right, those three additions trump the losses of Grimes and I'm spacing on the other one, Oubre, by a pretty wide margin, in my opinion. So a lot of time left for all three of these teams to maybe get themselves off the loser list. But as we're filming this here on July 1st, mid-afternoon, these are our three losers so far in free agency. Who is the biggest loser in NBA free agency so far, in your opinion? Let me know down in the comment section. And please subscribe as well, as we are on the road to 436,000 subscribers. It's a blast doing this content with you guys. Elper, Rolly, we'll see you on the next video. All right. Appreciate everybody for continuing to hang in here. How about we talk a little bit more before we actually send that on a cut and we get to the super chats? Yeah, about Tobias Harris going to San Antonio. Because what do you think about that move?
I actually really like it for them. I think it's a cheaper deal. And like we talked about while we were making that video, that Tobias Harris, I love him as a 3 to 4 option, not as a 2 option. And he's not going to have to do much for San Antonio. Do you think he starts?
I think he does. Like, do you start him or Julian Champagne?
I start Tobias Harris, and you take Champagne shooting off the bench.
I tend to agree there. But they also have a lot of different lineup decisions, because are you going to start Harper, Castle, and Vassell, or are you bring in one of Castle or Harper off the bench again?
And we still have Fox.
Because De'Aaron Fox, I have a hard time believing he's going to be traded. I'm not so sure there's a lot of interest around the league on Fox. It's going to be a hard contract to trade. Are you going to be able to convince him to come off the bench and keep him relatively happy? I don't know. So the Spurs, I mean, they've got a collection of talent, and it's going to be up to Mitch Johnson to kind of push the right buttons and put the puzzle together correctly to where how they have
a signing.
Starters and their backups.
The Jazz are signing Jaxson Hayes to a 2-year, $12 million deal.
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting. I don't think that changes anything for our cut there.
No.
Just because he's not a big enough name and he's going to the Jazz.
It's their Walker Kessler replacement. They should have just sent him in the trade. Like, sign and trade with the Lakers, sign and trade with the
I guess they didn't
Jazz.
Really need to. Yeah, interesting. So is he going to start, or do you think he's going to be – I think they come off the bench, right?
You have to come off the bench with Triple J.
You got Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Lauri Markkanen. I just truly think from their standpoint, they should put Jaren at the small ball 5 and put Lauri at the 4, but we know they like to go Lauri at the 3 at times. So who starts there? I mean, you imagine their backcourt's going to be Keontae George, Darren Peterson.
Yeah.
Are they going to start Ace Bailey at the 3 or bring him off the bench? If they start Ace Bailey, then it's probably going to be Jared and Lauri at the 4-5. If they want to start Jaxson Hayes, then it's going to be Darren, Keontae, Jackson, Lauri, and Jaren, which I think he comes off the bench.
I like a Lauri and a Triple J at the 4 and the 5. I think that'd be the smart move for the Jazz, and go with Darren Peterson and also Keontae George as your 1-2, and kind of you can figure out if you want to start Ace Bailey at the 3.
Yeah, so interesting signing there. Do you want to go to the couple super chats we have? I think we have 3, 1 on Chat Sports, 2 on Heat, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we got Johnson U.
Johnson, you kicking us off here on our main chat sports channel with a $2 super chat. He's saying, Elper, this is a very sad day.
Yeah, it is an extremely sad day. I mean, Mitchell Robinson has been with us since 2018. He was the longest tenured Knick. I'm going to miss him. I wanted him to stay at Knick for life, and if he stayed at Knick for life, I would assume that number 23 would have gotten retired. But out of all the try not to curse here. Out of all the teams, he went to the Celtics.
My friends said there was 2 teams that we wouldn't want him to go to, Indiana and Boston.
Yeah.
And he does.
Even if he went to Indiana, that's fine by me because I really don't think they have a chance to compete. But, like, out of all teams, Boston? It's going to look disgusting, him in a number 23. Well, is 23 retired? Because the Celtics, they seem to retire every single jersey that they possibly have.
I don't know if it's retired over there.
So I have no idea. But, yeah sad day.
Soul Chef with a $2 super chat. Do your best Mitchell Ren's voice. All right, ready? What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome into the Raiders Report by Chat Sports.
What's going on, Raider Nation?
What's going on, Raider Nation? Raiders! I don't even know if I'm even close there, but...
What's going on, Raider Nation?
Soul Chef, if you're still watching, hopefully I did a good enough job there. Armanda with a 5. Appreciate you. Is Miami going to keep Nico, and do you believe he will bounce back like Jaime did, or do you believe it's most likely he's traded? I'll tell you one thing. Miami is trying to trade him. Will they? That's a different question. But if they move on from Nikola Jovic and take back half the salary or somehow find a team to take him with no salary coming back and you're able to find a way to get a pick back.
Ooh, that's an interesting. Grizzlies and KCP are on the verge of working on a parting resolution as he could be traded or released.
Interesting. Either way there, I think they're trying to trade him. We'll see if they do. If I had to guess if he's more likely to be traded or stay here, I lean he's in Miami because I think it's going to be really difficult for them to find a trade partner since they can't attach any really second-round picks to him. They can attach a first-round pick, sure, but that would be, I think, a mistake. I'm not in the business of doing that because you can keep him this year, rehab his value, and if he looks good and you still want to get off that contract, well, then you could trade him at the deadline or next offseason and create more flexibility for a Giannis, Bam, Wiggins, like build around. So I'm not offering a first-round pick and Jovic to get rid of him. Space right now isn't as important to me as losing a first-rounder. It'll just be a pick swap, but still you lose control of your own first-round pick in either 29 or 2030 or 2032 or whatever the year would be. I'm not really in on that, so I think it's more likely than not he's here. And I do think he's going to be better than last year because Miami's going to need him to. He's going to have a larger role on this team than he did have last season. So if he's able to kind of perform better, then you do rehab his stock a bit and maybe find a way to trade him in February or next year at this time.
But we got a signing. Jaxson Hayes, 2 years, $12 million with the Utah Jazz. It is 100% just your replacement for Walker Kessler. So, I mean, basically, as Jaxson Hayes comes from the Lakers and goes to the Utah Jazz, you replaced him and then also send over 2 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad move from Utah. And obviously, Jaxson Hayes, he probably wanted to be someone who gets a opportunity to play meaningful minutes. And although Utah is not going to be very good next year, maybe they surprise people, he is going to get an opportunity to play because either you're going to be their starting center or he's going to be the first big man off the bench when Laurie or Marketing go to the bench. So a lot of different things that you can do there if you're Utah. A lot of different things.
Small signing. I don't mind it for them. It's plus cheap deal, $6 million a year. That goes. That's another one off the board for the New York Knicks to find their Mitchell Robinson replacement.
Yeah, now it's down to more of a guy like Nick Richards, Andre Drummond, Marvin Bagley's out there.
Ugh.
No?
Ugh.
No?
No.
All right.
No, please, no.
All right, so what we're going to do here, we're going to hop back into that video we just filmed. We're going to showcase and run through that again, kind of recap all the moves, talk about winners and losers. If if a move happens that is noteworthy in the next 20 minutes, we are going to hop back on and talk about it. If there is no signing, trade, or anything in the next 15 to 20 minutes, we're going to sign off there. For my Heat stream, we are going to call it a day here. Appreciate Charmander. If he's still in the building, you're a legend. We had a lot of fun with you and everybody else who liked, commented, subscribed, super chatted. We're going to end our Heat stream. I think we're going to film another video and put it out here later in the afternoon, so be on the lookout for that. But we're going to go to our NBA video that we just filmed, and if anything happens, we'll be back in 20 minutes. But if not, we're going to sign off for today. So appreciate everybody for hanging out with us here. See you later, Heat fans, and see you later.